Still says 6 seconds for me.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Do we have an intro, sir? Oh, excellent. Hello, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. What is this, you ask? This is the finest D&D live stream that Sunday nights have ever provided on this side of Twitch and or the YouTubes. A bit of background. So we gathered up as a group back in December as a one-time deal to raise some money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We did a good solid 12 hours of D&D, the Dungeons and or the Dragons, and the reception was far beyond our expectations. And we got over 250,000 views on the original broadcast, which was... there was a pretty consistent ask after the game for more content. And where folks could find us, and far be it from me to leave the internet blue-balled for Dungeons & Dragons content. So here we are. Took a bit, and we had to get some stuff lined up and some scheduling sorted, and some licensing handled, and characters rolled, and, you know, all that jazz, and puppies. I wanted to give a big shout out to some of the friends who really made this possible, aside from our wonderful cast members, which we'll get to. Erik Smistad, who's helping us out as our resident composer. He's based out of Calgary, and I'll link him in the doobly-doo on the VOD. Joellen, she goes by @TotalArtFreak on the socials, who's doing art for all of her characters and some landscape shots and stuff to really push these images right directly into your brain meats. Tabletop Audio is doing the majority of the ambiance tonight, and if you're not familiar, Tim's stuff is integrated into Roll20. Can be found at tabletopaudio.com. And Roll20 is providing the backbone of our game because it's a really wonderful tool, and we use it in our home games, and it's amazing. So, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and roll our intro credits? David, if you would, please, sir.
Yes. I may have messed this one up, so give me 2 quick seconds here, chat. I'm going to apologize. I knew I forgot something.
All right. Bum, bum, bum. You find yourselves floating in a dream, echoing words through your head. In your voice? No, it's someone else's. I wish it were all real. It would all be okay if it was just real. Oh, fuck, bud. Here we go. I guess I sent her a bit too hard there. Pan. Oh, fuck, Pan. Mayday. It's okay, mate. It's all going to be over soon. Just try and relax, yeah? Get some rest. Don't worry, see? Who are you? I am you. No, you're not. We are two. They're all gonna laugh at you. Guess we can ditch the bottom two, but keep the coat. And you land hard on a wide stone platform in the center of a bustling town. Bleary-eyed, you're helped to a sitting position by a man and a woman in rust-colored padded armor. They help you gather some of your things and urge you to sit tight a moment and collect yourselves. Erik, seeing the contents of your Maxpedition sling pack tumble out, and the strange black pipe attached to the side, a blonde, smiling fellow who had helped you sit upright says, "This is going to be a lot. Here's the thing. You're in a fantasy realm. Elves and wizards and There's a boatload of people here from our world and quite a few from other worlds as well. Near as we can figure, folks have been deposited here since 1973.
It's a good year. Last year of the Mustang being a good car.
I'll take your word for it. I'm from Vancouver, so it's a thing. He says. After a brief flash of yellow from his left eye, he says, "I think I know of a place you'd be comfortable." And he proffers his hand, and he says, "My real name's Max. And like I said, I'm from the coast. Everybody here calls me Dunbar. It's kind of a thing." And he holds his hand out to you.
I shake it. Ain't no reason to be ignoring a man's outstretched hand.
And you? Your name, sir?
Erik, but never much cared for that, and friends call me Hoots.
I like it. It suits your... Well, give the balls a tug and take a look at you. You done sprouted wings, boy.
I'll be fucked. I must have hit the ground real hard. That's
What does the audience see? What does the audience see in Hoots? What does Hoots look like?
So Hoots is a medium-sized in every definition of the word. Owlin. He seems to represent a long-eared owl with little tufts sticking up, big eyes fitting his confused face. He's wearing a flight jacket, an older flight jacket. Definitely looks like it's been handed down from father to son a time or two, and a ball cap. Reaching into the interior of his jacket, he picks up a pair of aviators, dusts them off, and slides them onto his face. Kind of a molted brown color, and he kind of shakes himself off, ruffles his feathers, and goes, "Well, that's probably the first time I've ever fit the name, I guess. I think I hit my head a little hard, though, sir, and you said you're from the coast, so I am very off course."
Potentially so.
Bye, Ben.
Well, Hoots, it's probably going to take some time to get used to, well, the feathers, for one. So why don't we get you to the kitchens? Hey, Faye, can you help that lady there with the frog jars and all the rocks? I ain't never seen a platform damaged before. Did you have all those rocks in your pockets? And
Well, what?
the woman's like, kind of gives him a wave, and leans down into you. And please go ahead.
Well, if I didn't have the rocks, they would have just been left there. And you see, I need them for my wanderings. If I don't have the rocks, I won't be ready when I find the circle. And I don't see the circle anymore. This doesn't seem like, I seem to have gone off course. That happens sometimes. Where am I?
Well, I'll give you the skinny. My name's Sarah. I go by Faye here. We try and help folks who've been deposited. You're in a place called the Womb. The world around us is called Naylore. This town is affectionately known as the Womb. Basically, where most folks start off and show up, kind of like you did, hard, hitting the ground.
Oh, it happens. It happens. Faye, I'm Agnes. My friends called me Eggy. The Womb sounds like a nice, warm place. I'm sure it'll be lovely. And for the audience's well-being, Eggy is a human with curly, slightly out of control red hair, a knit beret cap, and a tan and brown overcoat. Slung across her shoulder is a overly large messenger bag stuffed with papers and jars and little bags and many, many beads. In her hand, she is in fact holding a mason jar, holding one or two little frogs who seem equally concerned about their new location. On her feet, she wears slightly oversized bright red gumboots with white polka dots. And on her face, she wears large round spectacles and a smattering of freckles across the bridge of her nose.
Can I have your hand for just a second, dear? And she kind of holds it out, proffers her own for a moment.
Faye takes the hand and leaps up, landing on both feet, and her belongings jingle as she says, "This seems like a very fine place indeed."
You see her eyes go glowy and white, and the bangs in front of her face kind of flare out for just a second. And she says, well, right. Well, if the gumboots weren't any indication, at least I've got an idea of who can lend you a hand now. Dunny, I'm rolling her over to the Grove. Kitchen's for us over here. She says, don't worry, love, we'll get you settled. And lend Auntie Pharisee to you. You'll likely see that Birdman over there again soon. You guys came through at the same time, which means it's pretty good fortune to keep you all together. Once you're situated, at least. And she gives you a hand collecting up the spattering of belongings that ejected from your person.
She finds a new stone amongst the rubble on the ground, considers it for a second and sees the slight grains of pink inside and goes, "Oh, a new one for the collection," and drops it in her jar.
She lends you a hand. Agnes, she leads you off towards looking about for both of you and for the audience's sake. The large stone platform that you're on is in roughly the center of town. And to one side, you see that the town is bordered with a massive hilly mountain. To the other, there's a large glistening lake. Long green fields stretch out before you. Think like the Magic the Gathering wheel. All of it's kind of represented here a little bit. And she's leading you towards the forest. Hoots, Max Dunbar, for those who know, starts leading you towards the lake. And if you could throw the Roll20 screen up high. There we go. Hoots, we're going to start with you. Max leads you through this bustling village and down to the waterfront of a lake. And this construction here seems to kind of shift from that traditional style wood and stone buildings to cottages, predominantly made out of wood. Nearing the end of the solid packed pathway, you see a large red brick building. Towers kind of coming off of it, plenty of chimneys. About half of them are sort of lazily spilling out smoke. And a large flat balcony over about half of the building width. Decidedly darker smoke coming out of. Going up the steps of this place, you see, and I'll just draw audience attention here. This is a rough facsimile of the building that you're looking at here. And I'll just make sure that the stream is catching up. There it is. Perfect. Going up the steps, you walk through a large common room with long benches and well-worn tables. About a half a dozen people are kind of spattered throughout. Each looks like they're working on something. There's an old woman working on with threads and wools, a young man drafting blueprints. It looks like some kind of a flywheel mechanism based on your passive perception being what it is. Max gives a nod to all these folks who stare at your feathery form. Probably not a common occurrence here. And leads you up a spiraling staircase to the flat deck balcony. Welcome to the kitchens. Several mechanical contraptions on the roof making pocket soup and drying thinly sliced fruits and vegetables along narrow metal sheets, jerking smoking meats, butter and milk being separated by a pot that's just shaking itself. Electroplating being done with shocking grasp somehow. It seems to be strengthening some bronze and copper. And for those in the know, of which Hoots is not, because he's never heard of Dungeons and Dragons before, this is artifice, leveraging shocking grasp, frostbite, create bonfire, acid splash, prestidigitation, and mage hand. Up on the roof, there is a worn, brown-haired man in a stained wool knee-length coat with a thick shoulder-length leather mantle, and he's attending to these machines using strange-looking red wrench. No, wait, it's a screwdriver? Now it's a fly swatter? And seeing your arrival on the roof, a small end table comes to life and starts sauntering over, carrying a pitcher of yellow liquid. He pockets the small tool with a flick and deposits it into a medium-sized butt pack with a smiling face across his lip. He fills a cup and wipes his brow with a thin scarf. Well, looks like you've got another one for me, eh? Hopefully this one doesn't shit themselves when they find out there's no microwaves here for the craft dinners. He offers you one half-gloved hand, fingerless. Callahan Lalderbud, pleased to meet you. I like it. These are some of my tinkerings. When I showed up here, these folks had really been struggling to get things in order. You know, I've been tucking around the ethereal plane on yogurt, and you feel this intense heat from the sky above you, where there's a shimmering black horse with flaming hooves that looks like it has an eye twitch, just like glaring. And he's like, no, I'm not calling you that ridiculous name. Light Plane, the soul grinder, is no proper name for a pack mule. Anyways, yogurt it is. We were pulled through this weird prism-looking thing that looked like it was made out of liquid metal. Ended up here. Oh boy, were they skittish. Guess it's a rare occurrence to have two folks pulled from the same spot. One of those things. How'd you find yourself here?
Apparently they can't hear me. You're gonna have to do a little bit more than trying to convince me that I'm in the magics. Because this don't look right.
For the purpose of dealing with chat, did chat hear any of what Hoots has been saying since the start of the stream? Much better.
I had my mic muted by accident because I was shoveling food in my face and I didn't want to have people hear me chewing while you were doing your intro.
That is entirely fair. To quickly, you know what? Yeah, for the sake of the audience, because run it again. How did you find yourself here, bud?
Well, I was returning from Chorin, doing some crop dusting over in the prairies, and I was heading home fairly late, and I started dropping fuel pressure and fuel, and I'd never seen that before, and then the engine just dead stopped. Propanol, never seen that on that bird before. I was looking for a safe place to put her down, and next thing I know, I'm lying face down, ass up in the middle of the street. And now I'm not entirely convinced that any of this is real. I'm not just bleeding out in some farmer's field. So you're going to have to do me a favor and convince me a little bit more that I'm not dead.
Well, seeing as that's the way, little bit of time. There's some things that you can do. Counting, looking at watches, that sort of thing. Can't tell time and dream and all that jazz. But regardless, Max there wouldn't have brought you over unless he had some aptitude for fixing and tinkering. They got the ways about him, At the very least, you can find you a bed and get you a hot meal, get you a bed, let you sort yourself out, and see if we can't find a place for you. Come on. And he kind of brushes past you. Max has long since vacated. He deposited you and fucked off. He leads you downstairs to an open area near the back of the building. You go through that main large workshop-style room, and a couple of folks are eyeing you a little bit. Downstairs to an open area near the back of the building. It's open-ceilinged with conduits and chains hanging from wide beams. And there's this 10 by 12 sort of space surrounded by 8-foot flood barricades, like those L-shaped, put it down in front of a flood. And they're all facing inward to where he leads you to your room. I found everybody needs a little bit of space and a bit of protection from everyone else. If you feel like blowing yourself up, you should at least keep everyone from being too inconvenienced. If you need some ventilation, there's a few long poles for the skylights, and he gestures to the room inside. There's a small flat cot with stout woolen blankets, and a solid-looking wooden table with 2 vices and a built-in steel ruler going right across the front. And mounted on the back of the table are dozens of hooks and hangers and a small stack of tightly woven bowls for parts and bits and stuff. Chows whenever you like. It's pretty simple, but it'll keep you going. Folks like us tend to be a little less than focused in one area. You got to be able to fix everything, Nobody to rely on but yourself.
It's a good way to live your life.
Sure beats paying some Nancy Pants, I suppose. Fix my sink. Not going to be a thing. We'll make sure your toolbox is stocked. If you last long enough, I might show you a handful of other things you could do with that. And he motions to that shotgun that you got slung across your back. And then he motions down to a small lever-action Henry mare's leg hanging from his waist and between his waist and his knee. It's not quite the same as it was back there, but it's useful. Folks around here rely on us to fix what's broken, improve what ain't, and basically know a little about how to do pretty much everybody's job, just well enough to get her done. Ain't much for rules, so much as you follow the code of Sal. Been a handful of folks who couldn't wrap their head around it and went bad. A few are still out there, somewhere causing folks harm. Though we don't have any specific tenets as such. You see someone like us putting harm to good people, I expect you to do something about it.
Bad business harming good people.
It is at that.
There's a shallow grave waiting for someone like that.
Just make sure to pick the bones clean, too. Most of them got some good shit on them. But take a load off. Get comfortable. And when you're ready, I'll be on the roof and you can lend a hand. And you see the camera sort of pan out from where we're at. And it leads back to the skyline, where, and I'll just double check, Roll20 is still catching up here with us, and it looks like it is. Over to the skyline.
Just so you know, there's about for you guys receiving, there's about a 6-second delay.
Makes sense. I'm just double checking that the audience tokens and the visibility in Roll20 is actually working the way I programmed it.
Okay.
And so far, so good. So far, so good. So you see the camera kind of zoom out from the lake shore and go up into the skyline and come back down into a dense thicket, where we see a large tree. And Faye is leading Agnes step by step through the busy township. You've stepped off of the cobbled stones and you started walking on leaf-strewn paths for a while. And as you, everything here is bright, warm, calm, and you're at peace. Like this is close to home. This is, if there was ever an adventure to be had, this is the place to have it. And she says, just over there, and she gestures to this massive tree in the center, and she's like, just around the side. And as you step forward, you see much like what you see on the screen, a large wooden door. And just off in the distance, there's a form kneeling on the ground and kind of shakes a bushy tail for a moment. Ears perk up, and she walks over. And before you is a woman. She looks like she's in her 50s, but you can't quite tell about the features. Almost Aes Sedai ageless. And there's a glow about her. She has noticeably long, straight silver hair, fox ears protruding from the top of her head, a kimono-style garb with her shoulders and part of her chest bare, and she is fucking ripped. Like picking up logs and chucking them for fun. Down sprouting from behind is a large bushy foxtail, and she's wearing, in a traditional sort of Japanese aesthetic, the wooden sandals. And Faye leans in and says, "That's Farlin," or as we call her, Auntie Far. She's one of them Azamars, the celestial folks, the divine people. Don't ask about her age. Anyways, bye. And she fucking leaves. You're muted.
Agnes kind of steps up and in kind of an awkward way says, "So I hear you're old. So Sorry. Sometimes it just comes out. Hi, I'm Agnes. Friends call me Eggy. This is a big tree.
Hello, Agnes. This tree is my home.
It's beautiful.
I think so too. Maybe someday she'll tell you what its name is.
Can you talk to the trees?
She looks at you for just a moment, and you see a faint wisp of silver just like wisp off from one of her eyes, and she's like, "Oh, honey." And she comes over and she puts her hand on your shoulder, and it's like remembering a dream that you had where everything was so vivid, and you woke up and you couldn't remember it anymore, and it all floods back to you. And every single tree around you just, it's like a cacophony, and everything is singing and everything is speaking. Agnes has unlocked the power of speaking Sylvan. For those playing at home, our characters are level 0 right now and haven't chosen things yet. So she says, Faye had a look at you, and if your gumboots aren't any indication, I think I have some things I might be able to show you.
I think I'd like that very much.
Yeah. Not the only one around here. And there's a couple of things that we need to cover first. If you're to stay here.
I brought some friends. Is that okay? I don't think they'll become an invasive species. It's a little different here, but they seem to have made it the journey okay.
It's like flash cut scene to 3 years from now, and it's like The Simpsons with 3-eyed fish everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like frogs roaming the countryside. And she's like, I'm pretty sure it'll be okay.
Okay. Well, that's good. This is incredible.
It is. You probably have some questions.
Well, I do. What do you call this? And she scouts down and looks at a small mushroom on the ground and says, there are over 50,000 different species of mushrooms where I am from, and I have never seen anything in my life quite like this.
And as you poke it, it goes, my name's Tim.
Hi, Tim. I'm Eggy.
Hi.
I don't know what to say to a mushroom. Are you having fun? Hey, guy.
If a mushroom could have a puzzled look on its not face, through the magic of some channeled rituals here, it's like, it's all right. And you see his form just kind of like recede down into the stalk. Don't mind him. He's particular. Why don't we go for a walk and find a place for your friends?
I'd like that.
And as she starts leading you a little ways over to where there's a small waterfall and a small, like kind of bubbling sort of pond. It's not quite a swamp, but it's a little murky. And she says, how did you come to be here?
Well, I'm a little unclear. I was out for my evening wander, and I had found my little friends by the stream near my cottage. I'm just on the outskirts of the town, It was just felt a little bit more homey, never quite fit in. So I was wandering, and I found a stone, and the stone was beautiful, and I held it in my hand, and I thought about how nice my day was. And then I wandered down by the stream, and I found my little frog friends, and then I came across this beautiful glade, and it was a beautiful afternoon, and I thought I would just take a little nap. And there was a ring of flowers. They were blue. They were beautiful. They were the color of, she rummages through her jars. This stone, about this stone, yes, yeah. And I fell asleep, and I woke up, And I have to tell you, I've obviously you hear about fairies, but is Fae a fae? Is that a thing?
Oh no. That is when people come here, sometimes the name that they had where they came from doesn't quite fit the body that they arrive in. The folks that come through here quite often are quite confused because maybe they were somebody who looked and acted entirely different where they were from. Men and women. People have come through as bestial creatures. Some folk. There was a centaur woman who came by like 4 days ago, and that was a ride. I don't mean that in a literal sense. That is really, oh my. But just.
I won't tell anyone what you said. It's okay.
And she says, when I came through in 1978, I was a soldier in Hokkaido. And I came through, and I looked like one of our divine beings. And things were not as they are now. There wasn't a town here for once. It's been a journey, but old habits die hard, and she like flexes a good and proper ropey arm. Self-sufficiency is key. There are some rules to follow. You are in a land of magic, and the dungeons and/or the dragons, she says out loud, which Agnes probably profoundly recognizes.
Her eyes are big naturally. They just get that much bigger.
Yeah.
Real dragons?
Yeah, all of that with the mage armors and the magic missiles and all of those things.
Hold on a second. And she digs through her bag and retrieves a random selection of dice and rolls them on the rocks on the ground and goes and just wants to see what will happen.
You see, she sees them, and you go to throw them, and she kind of wisps her finger for a second, and you see they like click, clack, and line up and start moving around in a weird shape. For all intents and purposes, the Agnes's dice can totally be used when you're using an augury spell ritual instead of like carved knuckle bones and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
She collects them out of the air and takes them back.
It didn't say whoa, it said wheel, so in the next 10 minutes something good is probably bound to happen.
Well, many good things are happening right now.
Well, I mean, you rolled an 11, so I can't really comment, but it's better than average. And she says, here's the thing. I can teach you a few tricks so you can be self-sufficient. It's on you what you choose to do with them. The people here follow the codicil. Everyone has a mark on their bodies. When people hit a certain, call it power structure, that mark disappears. And it allows certain magics like plane shifting to function on you again. If there was ever a reason to adventure other than making your way home, that's a reason that some folks seem to seek out. Doesn't prevent you from going to different planes, just your own native plane, oddly enough. And she kind of like pulls her bodice down a little bit further than would be audience appropriate. But it's just the two of you, and you see a large black tattoo, kind of like, think like the skeeziest tribal black tattoo that you can think of. She's just rocking it across like the left side of her chest. She's like, you likely have one too somewhere in that. Somewhere.
Maybe I'll find it later.
Yeah. Oh,
She's turned.
we can
She's
look.
naturally quite red-cheeked, and she's just turned like deep plum on her cheeks as she's been like showing the tattoo. Like,
she says, some people adventure for the sake of removing the mark and going home. Others adventure because the life that they have here is more prominent and profound than anything they might have had previously. Some are here and they don't remember anything else. We've got
and what
one
do
of
they
those.
do when they think they might have left the kettle on?
It's one of those things that you will never live down, and it will always nag at the back of your mind. I must confess.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
So, the codicil.
Like
And
rules, guidelines.
Hoots is getting
Guidelines?
a rough sort of education on some of this at the same time, we'll say, for the sake of repeating myself. So she starts as you're walking towards this place, this little murky pond. She says, "There's a handful of temples within town, a few towers for arcane-minded folks, some of our leadership, some barrack types for buildings for people within the town. Faye and Dunbar ascribe to that sort of college, we'll say. Forest on one side, lake on the other, some grasslands, and our mountain. The
And
grasslands reach out to the west of town.
Okay.
The town itself is based on some general common sense laws, but don't steal, don't murder. You know, the kinds of thou shalt nots that are just good, sensible things. You know, try and do your best. The big one that everyone refers to is the codicil. It was laid out by the founders of the town, and for all intents and purposes, the gist that she gives you of this at this point, because today has been a lot. You've been walking for a good 20 minutes or so from her tree to get to the place that you're at. The codicil essentially boils down to, you don't need a reason to help people. You don't abandon people on the road. Everyone is owed a hot meal and a bed. And everyone contributes to the prosperity of the land. It's the primary reason that folks go adventuring, is to better themselves, to do what they can to pitch in more, or for their own means, but tertiary is still trying to do better for everybody. Maybe it's a utopian ideal, and I don't care, I write this game. It's the primary reason folks go adventuring, is to better themselves. And people who seriously violate it are banished and often become part of, we're going to call them the internet troll army. There isn't so much a ruler or a king here. It's more of a council of respected people. Everybody that stays here has a say, but folks tend to lean pretty heavily on the words and opinions of their community leaders. And is Agnes like a notebook person?
Agnes is her notes in school were like a few point forms for the first 15 minutes of class, and then a bunch of doodles.
I like it. So, rattling off a couple of names that you might need. I am Farlin, or Antifar, as most folks seem to call me. Callahan Lalder is one of the. He looks after the kitchens down near the lakefront. They do all manner of like food preservation techniques, and if you have something broken, there's a pretty good chance him or one of their folks can fix it. Ramshackle the Black Hand is a gnome wizard that he's been here longer than I have. He's not around right now. Everybody tends to kind of come and go as they please, but one of those towers over there that you would have seen from town is his. Benasha Hesim is she's one of the elven bards here in town. There's a massive tavern that is essentially we'll call it their college. Big quad, whole big thing. And then there's a man named Mr. Argoth Nax, a dwarven cleric. He runs the temple right next door to the tavern, oddly enough, right up against the base of the mountain. It's a big thing. There are others, but those are primarily like if you hear names or if you need something in town, they're generally the folks. Let's see what we can show you. And as you arrive at this pond, there's just friggin' frogs everywhere. And she gets you over, sits you down, just on the lakeshore, and motions to open up your mason jar. TM mason jar.
Very, very gingerly open the jar and lay it down on its edge and give it a little tap.
Roar. And you see its speckled form is met by this greasy old toad that just kind of comes up from the water. It's like, and this thing is like the size of a cat.
I would like to try to grab it and hold it gently. Grab it gently. Hold the giant toad.
The giant toad? Yeah. Yes. Not a giant toad, but like a big old toad.
A big toad. Yeah. I get it.
And you hold it up like a double baconator. And it's like,
oh, you are beautiful. And I put him back down.
That's called a glow toad. Because, and she picks him up, she gives him like, it's firm. And you're like, oh no. And he's like, no, this is fine. I like it. And she squeezes it, and all the little bumps across its back inflate for a second, as though it was one of those, like, you squeeze the thing and the poop comes out the back kind of toys. And all of the little, like, polypy bubbles of skin, they fill with fluid, and she shakes them for a second. And there's this bioluminescence inside the toad that is just like the cheat turning the light switch off and on and off and on, doing a light switch rave party.
Cute but mildly violent.
Yeah.
You have glow stick frogs?
I don't quite get the reference, but I think I know what you mean, she says.
This is amazing. This cloud's coming in. I guess I better make somewhere to sit for a while.
Oh, that reminds me. Quill. And you see a hooded form scramble out of a tree. But it's not a tree. It's a treehouse. And you see, like, now that your eyes have adjusted, you see small rope ladders going across and down, like, very The Lost Boys, right? And kind of bustling down. Before you see Tyler Mac?
Yep. Oh, you're introducing me. Sorry.
I am indeed.
Before you, you see a cat. In your mind, it looks like a house cat that is on its hind legs, but is also 4 feet tall when it does so. On its body is this almost ill-fitting and very out of place, dark kind of red mauve, like scale mail armor that's very dragonesque with big scales, with a line of teal scales down the center, a big teal hood around the neck, and kind of matching all the way through, leading into kind of teal and mauve around the belt. And then nothing on the feet, nothing on the hands, just kind of bare paws, but a little more anthropomorphic than you might expect from a house cat. And it's standing there in front of you with just this little happy look on its face. It's like, "Hello, I'm Quill. This is Lou." And he holds out a little stuffed animal of what looks like it would be a dragon. He goes, "This is Lou. He's my dragon. He's my best friend. So, hello. You're new. It's nice to see you."
Hi, Quill. It's so nice to meet you. My name is Agnes. My friends called me Eggy. Nice to meet you too, Lou.
I told you she'd say hello. Told you.
Well, it's only polite.
Well, you'd be surprised how many people don't actually say hi to Lou. It's quite saddening.
Well, that is sad.
But what? Sorry, there's just so much going on here. I'm not entirely sure what to say. Are you like new? Like you're new to here?
I did. I've come to the. She looks over at Antifar, the womb. I laid down and I woke up and I am here now. And the toadstools talk to me and the toads glow, and you're incredible and the trees sing, and I'm very new.
It's almost like a dream, isn't it?
Very, very much so. Although I hope it's not. It's pretty wonderful.
To be honest with you, Lou here, he's not quite sure either. We're not sure what we're doing. It might be. It could be a dream. If it is a dream, then we are having a very good dream.
Might have eaten the wrong kind of mushrooms.
Speaking of which, and Far, like, as you guys are having this conversation, she's been doing like this and just like kind of measuring you out, Agnes. And she says, "That'll about do, Tim." And she calls out, and you turn to like see what she's talking about, and popping out of the ground is a large looking, well, not large, but at least 15 by 15 2-story mushroom house with a quaint little chimney and a nice little lantern hanging in the front. And it kind of like the roof bows a little bit, and Tim says, "Please don't set me on fire." And then it just kind of goes inert for a second.
Oh, don't you worry, Tim. Quill, Lou, would you like to come in for tea?
Well, I don't know if you need to invite me into my own place, but I certainly wouldn't mind coming in.
Well, manners first. I don't want to assume.
Well, I think it would make more sense if I invited you in. So, do you want to come for tea?
Of course.
So Farland says, "It's a bit of a trek up to Quill and Lou's house up in the trees, but tea sounds lovely. Why don't I go get it? I'll bring it back here. Agnes, I need you to do something for me."
Of course.
Oh, this is going to be good.
"I need you to sit down, cross-legged, crisscross applesauce, as they say. And I need you to. And you see a circle start to form slowly on the ground in front of you, and it crisscrosses back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And a small, faint wisp comes through. And she says, I need you to take some time, tell me what this fairy has to say. And Quill, if she has any questions, I trust that you can answer them. You've been here long enough. You know your way around.
I'll do my best.
If she needs anything in her new mushroom house, just let us know. Or maybe you can find it. You know your way around here pretty well.
I do.
I get the feeling she's probably going to need something similar to what Jules procured for you in town. Some equipment, perhaps, to become familiar with.
Yes.
Yeah. I will go make tea. Do your best, dear. And again, it doesn't all happen in a day.
Thanks, Auntie Far.
With that, she walks away back to her super bitchin' treehouse. For all intents and purposes, Melissa, your new mushroom home is, it's a 2-story cottage. Little birder, lots of indentations in the walls, like flat little. It almost looks like windows, the little window shapes, for everything. And it's checking it out later. It's pretty much like cottage core to the T.
I get to live in a mushroom. I'm so excited.
What does Quill's place look like on the inside? Because it's kind of an amalgamation of Lost Boys tree houses and stuff, because you can climb.
Yeah, so mine doesn't actually casually have really there's a staircase kind of style to be able to get up to it, but it's super rickety because it's never been used, it's never been taken care of, it's just been weathered and old, because I will usually just quickly climb my way up there. But inside you don't see any distinct furniture. There's no bed, there's no tables, everything is kind of done from the floor. You see a pile of blankets in a corner that I curl up to sleep on beside a fireplace. You see the occasional plate and bowl kind of off towards a different spot, water in one side, food in another. I don't like to mix them at the same time. And other than that, everything inside is primarily just the blank wood walls. I don't spend a lot of time in there. And when I do, it's typically to sleep or to stare out the one very kind of large window that sits near where my fireplace is.
I like it. So you see the camera sort of pan out. Well, you don't. We do. Unbeknownst to you, but knownst to us, of Agnes sitting there cross-legged with a massive purse messenger bag beside her, concentrating on this little glowing mote in front of her. And Quill looking on from reasonably close. We zoom back out and we find ourselves deposited into a temple. And in that temple, there is I won't go too deep into this because Riley's not here, unfortunately, this week. But for the sake of the audience, you see a burly, white-bearded dwarf chastising a massive silver dragonborn in the gaudiest armor that has ever existed. And it's like a child going after Shaq, in a height comparison, and just berating for being a fool and silly, and I told you once, I told you 1,000 times. Doesn't matter how big you are, you still have to follow the same rules as everybody else. And he's like, but I am the most splendid of peoples. I don't know what you're talking about. This is great. Like, I'm super massively helpful to everybody. It's like, look, I understand you think that right now, but you're kind of being an ass. And constantly calling out people and basing their value on how tall they are, not gonna fly here. Not gonna fly here. Rule number 1, I'm in charge here. I am shorter than you. I will end you. And he's like, noted, duly noted. I like it. Okay. I will strive to do better, sir. It's like, yeah, you will. And kind of zooms out again. And it kind of pans over this raucous tavern and past some arcane towers. And the sun's kind of going down a little bit at this point. It's darkening up. And we land back around the kitchens once more. And stretched out on the roof, I feel like we see Hoots. Just like, it's been a couple hours since you arrived, and you've had a chance to get acclimated a little bit. You pinched yourself probably a bunch of times, and nothing really changed. And here you are. And there's some crackling fire over to the side where there's still like jerky smoking and like fruits and vegetables drying out. And most of it seems to work on some kind of strange. It's magic. Like everybody keeps calling it magic, and you're like Houdini magic, like, but it's just on fire, and there's nothing inside it. But I feel like he's like kind of like stretched out on the back, looking at the sky as seems fitting for him. And Callahan comes up and he offers you a beer.
Thank you kindly.
So,
it's not a dream, is it? I'm not dying in a farmer's field, am I?
I don't think so. I certainly haven't yet. I keep waking up every day.
So, what's a guy like me to do inside of a nerd's fantasy?
Well, here's the sticky wicket of the matter. You showed up here, and I'm going to show you how to do some shit. Stuff that you've never imagined. The trouble is that there's a lot of folks that come through here that have a bit of prior knowledge on how all this works. And you take some of the most unsavory sort of 4chaners out there. You teach them how to mind control people and light fireballs with their heads and or other nefarious things. That doesn't do a whole lot for helping people. And we send them out packing pretty fast, but there's a lot of them, and they stir up trouble from time to time for folks out there. And you know, I won't say that it's not a dangerous life, doing what you got to do. That mark that you got between your shoulder blades there, it's keeping you from going home. And we got magics to send you where you need. Not me personally, but, you know, I know a few folks. You get to a sufficient amount of personal power, that mark disappears. Mine's still here, but, you know, I'm pretty fine with this place, I gotta say. It ain't a bad life. Certainly better than, you know, what I was doing before. You ever been to Hell? Hell's terrible, man. Gotta tell you, even yogurt And again, you see this this fiery-eyed. It's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. He's like, I don't give a shit about your preferred name here, horse. I'm not calling you that. I'm not. Not one of those things. Yogurt is a fine name for a steed. And the horse just like nickers and fucks off into the sky a little bit, leaving a trail of flames behind it. So, where do you want to begin?
Well, old Reliable here is worse shape than I've ever seen it.
Oh.
So I need to get around to fixing that.
Well, gunpowder here sucks. And what they try and pass off as gunpowder here will make that explode. But, and he pulls the mare's leg about yay long and cocks it for a second. And when he does, you see these arcane sigils kind of glow up the barrel. And he's like, I don't need to cock it, but I really like to. Ain't nothing puts the fear of God into a man than hearing one of these things go shh, shh. And, you know, maybe the same as a pump, but it's one of those things. Interesting tidbit. Gods are real here. It's totally a thing. Like there are people that talk to them directly, and that clears up a whole mess of business about people arguing about shit. Like there's no like opinions one way or the other. It's just a thing, and then you move on with your life. It helps. And with that, he takes this thing and he pulls the trigger, and you see it a spiraling sort of magical glyph and circle appear in front of the barrel, and it shoots a large blast of fire out into the air about 120 feet away. And he's like, that usually does the trick for killing most critters. Why don't we start with that?
I can do that.
Yeah. Now, it'll take you a while to be able to get it through your boomstick there, because I gotta teach you how to do it first, and then I'll teach you how to enhance what you're doing using your boomstick. But it's a process, and reasonably, I mean, you stand a chance of blowing yourself up learning anything, but sometimes
anything worth doing's worth catching fire over.
I like it.
That's a scary thought.
No.
It's like, I really like going for walks at midnight, but I don't think I'd go on fire for that.
Now, when I said I'd give you a decent toolbox, I mean, there's a couple of things that really come in handy. And he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a Swiss Army knife, like just straight on Swiss Army knife, TM. And he flicks it for a second, and now it's a screwdriver in his hand with a bright red handle. And he flicks his wrist again, and now it's a crescent wrench. And he flicks it again, and now it's like a javelin. It's like there's a bunch of stuff that is just downright handy about this place. And he flicks it and he puts it away. And so we'll get you situated. There's a couple of things that I'll show you how to do. I got a few tricks that you might want to employ. Things like you ever set a knit bone without barely touching somebody?
Can't say I ever had. Usually you got to make someone scream a little when you do that.
This is a little easier. They got magic for that shit. No more hospital bills. It's great. But yeah, we'll get you done. There's a couple of things you're probably going to need to do. That rock lady that they were telling me about, Max mentioned him before he sauntered off. You guys pulled through at the same time. There's a good chance that you're probably going to see that lady again.
The one with the frogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So folks around here are a bit superstitious, and arriving with the same folks at the same time, you generally grouped up together, class assignments, that sort of thing. And who knows? There's a pretty good chance that they took you to the Grove, that you'll be useful to each other. I wouldn't want Farland as a teacher. That lady's scary. Oh man. And the camera kind of cuts over to like this serene looking pond where Agnes is like talking to a little face spirit, and Quill's looking on, and over by the house is Captain America just like ripping apart firewood. Only it's a busty lady in a kimono, and she's just like coming apart. and you see Cal just kind of like shudder a bit for looking at you,
Agnes
as if
calls,
remembering something unpleasant.
You see Agnes call over. It's like, the little Fae says that fairy cakes are something very different where they're from.
So yeah, this will get you situated. I give it about a month or so, and I'll have you, maybe not plate, but we'll get you outfitted in something comfortable. I hope you don't mind. And he reaches over and he claps you on the shoulder for a second. And you feel yourself get super light. And you start to rise up off the ground. Up and up and up and up and up. He's cast Levitate on you. And he gets you like 50 or 60 feet up, and he's like, all right, now look at me. And he stops the spell.
They work! I was wondering about that.
I was wondering about that too. I'd have probably caught you if they didn't. Did I prepare that today? I did not. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
And Hoots lands down and just kind of does this like, okay, it's real, but I can still fly.
Yeah.
Well, if you got stuff that needs doing, many hands make less work.
There is that.
And as long as I can keep to the skies, I'm liable to help you out a little. So
Excellent. So there's a pretty good chance that we'll get some work coming your way once we get you a little green, but we'll fix that. That's not so rough. And you hear like a pop again, and two more puppers come your way. And it kind of like zooms out, and I imagine Hoots is probably going to take a good amount of time to himself to be like, I can fucking fly.
yeah.
I'm gonna do that now.
And I
Agnes.
don't have to ask permission.
You don't have to ask permission or pay for fuel.
Mm-hmm.
You run on oatmeal and jerky.
Sounds horrible.
Propelled by farts.
That's probably fine.
Agnes, it is close to midnight, and you found that this little thing in front of you communicates back and forth with, like, you say a word and you get a feeling back, and you say a word and you get a feeling back, and it's not quite unlike what happened with the forest and the trees and stuff. That's long since faded. It's just quiet now. And you see Quill, like, probably just hanging out, playing with Lou, I imagine. Just keeping an eye out. And the spirit kind of bolsters a little bit, and it bobbles its head. What would you like to ask it? This is your first interaction with a fairy. The Fae are real.
This one's they're very cool. Like Lou literally loves talking to them. So literally ask them anything. They got answers.
You just make sure to tell it your full real name, your true name first. If it offers you any food, immediately take it. If it offers you gifts, ask no questions about where those gifts are coming from or what they cost. Like, those are the rules.
I would like to open up my jar of stones
Mhm.
and find just the shiniest one and offer it a gift. And ask, would you like this?
I've never seen that before.
Bobs, and it looks at the stone and it bobs. Think like it's like a little mote of flame, like kind of a diamond teardrop shaped mote of flame.
Like the fairies from Ocarina of Time, are we talking?
Yeah, kind of. Only no wings, just like it's just bobbing there. And it looks down at it, and it's got the faint outline of big eyes. And it kind of like, I do want it. And you hear very clearly in your head, in Sylvan, I do want it.
Well, today's your lucky day then. This is yours. And I'm going to place it at the base of the little shape.
This is mine now.
Yes.
And the stone disappears.
Have you lived here long?
Not a few.
Are you from somewhere else? Like me?
Yes.
Are you... Is this what you look like where you're from?
Oh, honey. No.
Eggy is going to ask just like a myriad of unrelated questions.
It gives you a myriad of unrelated answers
Like,
to things.
starts getting like more broad in her question. She's like, do you like cinnamon on your toast?
And it's like, one moment, please. And you see its face just like go blank for a second. And you hear this like chomp, 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 chomp in your head as though it had stepped away from the phone. And you hear, holy shit! Clomp, 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 clomp. It comes back and the thing like shakes for a second. It's like, yes, I do.
I know, right?
I do.
Oh, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. You know, my friend Desi, they turned me onto that, and I have just every day for breakfast. Every day, you know? She kind of looks around, like, and looks in her bag. I may need to source some more, but I'm sure I can make do.
That's fair. This has been fun, but I gotta go.
Can I talk to you again sometime?
That depends.
On what?
Whether or not you can master the spell Commune with Nature. Bye! And it just like disappears.
She jumps up. Edifar, Quill, Edifar, I need to commune with nature.
That's... I cannot help you with that at all. That is far beyond my like Quill here. I'm Quill. Lou might be able to help you with that, but he's kind of full of fluff at the moment. So
Well, maybe if I help Quill, or your Quill, maybe if I help Lou.
New character, who dis?
Maybe if I help Lou, Lou can help me.
Oh, poppers.
No, it's Lou's more like I don't know how to explain it. He's my best friend, and he's been with me for my whole life, and I don't think he'll ever talk to you personally. He'll only talk to me. So I don't know. It may be if you're really nice to him. And I just
I
kind of
am. I am
hold out.
very nice.
He kind of his head little flops over because he's a stuffed animal. I'm like, Lou here's kind of like he's well, he's big. He's big dragon, and I'm little dragon. Now that means that he knows more than me, but I'm kind of more in charge of what we do because I'm little and I can go more places. But when it comes to knowledge about magic, I've been told I'm not ready for magic yet. And if I'm not ready, then since I'm in charge, then Lou's not ready. So you're probably going to have to talk to the other ones. That's probably better for everybody.
Okay. It's just you seem very nice, and she seems busy.
She's the best person I've ever met, next to Lou, of course. She's been great. It's kind of weird when you don't remember much about anything, and she just gives you everything you need. I have a place to stay. I have a fireplace. It's not as good as the fireplace as a couple places in town, but it's pretty great.
You don't remember anything?
It's foggy. I don't really have much of a past. Little pieces. Like I know my name's Quill, and I know that I've got this I've been told for my whole life, the soul of a dragon. And he kind of like pumps himself up in his little dragon armor, and he kind of holds up Lou in his little dragon stuffed animal. He goes, I may be furry, but I'm scary at heart, and that's scary, not scary. So don't run away from me. I'm very nice.
Well, I can see that. You've been so helpful today.
I haven't really done much, but I appreciate it.
Sometimes being there is all you have to do to be helpful, you know.
So I can do less as long as I'm sitting here?
I mean, that's kind of your choice. It sounds like that's between you and Lou, because Lou's in charge. So
I'm in charge, thank you very much. He may be big dragon and I may be little dragon, but I'm still in charge.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Well, I wonder if Antifar would give us both a way to get magic. I know you said you're not ready for it yet, but I really want to talk to my friend. I didn't catch their name, but you know, where I'm from, asking names is a little personal when it comes to fairies, and I didn't want to presume. It was only our first afternoon after all. But I also would like to talk to Tim, because honestly, talking to people is just pretty cool. And when they can't normally talk to you, it's got to get lonely. And so I think that maybe we should figure out how to talk to them some more. Do you think we should go talk to Antifar?
I suppose you can do whatever you want with that. That's a good question, actually. Should we go talk? You choose, I'll follow.
Okay.
And you see immediately behind you, or you hear as she exhales from a smoking pipe, and it's been leaning against a tree, listening as things go. You didn't hear a sound as she had approached, because at this point both of your passive perceptions are garbage. It's a thing. And she says, "You can probably help with some magic. There's a few things. Quill, you need to you need a little bit of life experience before I think magic is going to come easy to you. So, but the potential is definitely there. And Eggy.
We are friends after all.
Indeed, we are. You seem a little bit closer to it. What did you feel from that interaction?
Curiosity, warmth, and mischief.
Well, that about sums it up. I liked the cinnamon part. It really screwed with him. That was great. And she says, "There's a few things that I can teach you. The general understanding is that You're gonna have to make your own way in this world. Don't you even start making your way.
But, hold on a second here. The only way to really make it at the moment is just downtown.
Yep. You
I
remember
don't know if you can keep up because I walk very fast and I talk even faster.
you remember all the
Well, I'm
stuff
going to be
that
homebound.
Mr. Sander was teaching you, Quill?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Agnes, Jules comes by every now and again and helps instruct Quill on marksmanship and getting used to moving in armor. It's a dangerous world out there, and armor helps.
As long as it does, I mean, I can't go anywhere without my bag. So,
Oh, yes. I understand entirely.
Oh, I could do a lot better if I wasn't wearing such hard, heavy armor, but it's nice to have something that's a little more my style.
Mhm. Agnes, we can teach you a few things. And she reaches out and like she proffers a couple of rocks, just like shiny quartz. They're rough hewn, but they're beautiful. And she says, like this, and she holds them in your hand for a second and clasps her hands around yours, and you feel a warmth and a glow, and they're glowing now. And she says, Quill, just like we practiced. And she tosses one of these magic sling bullets over to Quill
Yep.
and you see in a practiced motion this incredibly dexterous, like you haven't seen Quill move like this yet, because he's very just like hello. But you see his hand kind of whip around his head for a moment, and a long leather thong appears wrapped around its paws,
Pause.
kitty paws, and you see the sling bullet come whipping out of it, and it hits a tree. Like, you've skipped rocks before, and you fired a slingshot before, and it leaves a hole like this big in one of the trees all of a sudden. And she's like, "You can do a lot of things with these sorts of things. Um, you're going to need a way to see. We'll deal with that. Um, most most folks in town rely on us and the people of our," she kind of like gestures to both of you, "persuasion, to heal, mend wounds, um, have an understanding of the world around us, because frankly we're the most observant out of all of them. There are so many people that go through this world never paying attention to like what the stones are saying or what the wind is saying, and I just couldn't imagine living that way." And off in the distance, probably off camera, you hear like as like you see Hoots like nosediving a lake and just practicing shit, sending her just a bit too hard, bud. And they'll just rocket through life, never paying attention to the wind like itself. And we'll make sure that you have everything that you need in your bag.
it is a pretty, it's a swell bag. I got it from my grandma. She was a wanderer too. She had such great ideas, and she starts rifling through it, easily distracted.
There's many things. One of the tenets of the codicil is that you better yourself, and it will be challenging to do so if you only ever remain here inside Tim. However, think of this place as your home and a place that you can always return to. You will understand more things about the world as we grow in our arrangement. I will show you a few things that I can. You'll discover others for yourself. There's majesty and wonder in this place Magics abound, not just natural, but crafted magics as well. The arcane is far reaching and ever unknown. They put magic inside objects. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
You just did that. Just now. With a stone.
The stone already has magic in it. You just have to ask it to come out.
I've never thought about it that way before.
Make the magic, bitches. And she holds out her hand, and you see like a little bit of foxfire just kind of comes out, produce flame. And she says, "It's getting a little overcast. Let's get you back to Tim. We can start tomorrow."
I'm going to gather up in my sitting with the little fairy. I had kind of spread out some of my stuff as I was showing around, and I'll pack it all up and make my way inside.
Excellent.
Oh, Quill, you're welcome to come unless you have other things to do. You're always welcome. Just knock.
Oh, sure. Yeah. If do you have like a time frame that I can't show up? Or what's your?
I do not know how. Does time work normally here? That's a complicated question. Let's just assume that if you want to knock on the door, that I will decide if I answer that door. But most of the time, it will be unlocked, and you can just.
So that's
my friend now.
That's a little bit confusing. So am I supposed to knock, or am I supposed to just open the door?
Well, why don't you knock? Let's knock. Let's start with knocking.
All right. You see the scene kind of cut away, and everybody, again, just past midnight. Everybody kind of settles in to their place. Hoots, you have a totally serviceable looking, like, Fort Mac bunk. That is, it is a bed, it is a bench, and there's a place to put your shit.
Sounds perfect. It sounds great.
You are coming through the mic incredibly loud right now.
Oh yeah, I adjusted it because it was a little it was sitting weird on camera. Was that better?
That is a little better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the gain was up a fair bit. What did Hoots end up filling his night with, aside from, like, if you figure out you can fly, you're gonna go fucking fly.
Yeah, it was flying. That's what he spent most of his night doing. Especially as like the night settled and he realized not only could he fly, he can also see in the dark. It may not be color, but he's borrowed a pair of NVGs and he knows that he's still got depth perception, so he'll take it. So yeah, he's like, and then like when about 2:30 in the morning rolled around, he came in, climbed into bed, and just passed out.
I like it. Eggy, what did you after you excused yourself, what did we see?
Eggy would have spent some time exploring around Tim, and would have unpacked and meticulously lined up. Initially, the first 6 jars are lined up on a windowsill in perfect order. And then slowly she picks up the next jar, but there's no room on the counter on the little shelf anymore. So she puts it on the side, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And she really soon comes to find that there's just simply not enough space on the shelf for all of her jars. So it's very cluttered in a homey sort of way. Settles herself down to watch the dwindling light and goes to sleep and hopes it's not a dream. Talks to Tim as she drifts off.
Tim doesn't respond so much as just like it's not conversational. It's more, I guess I'm a house now, and you're inside of me. Please don't light me on fire.
That is usually when you're inside, you want to have your fire lit.
Yeah, just setting out all the things and looking around, soaking it in, and settling in.
I like it. For the viewers watching at home, if you're watching the VOD, any imagery that I say about like Hoots cruising through the sky, go on Spotify, look up "Push It to the Limit" from Scarface, because like that's it in a nutshell. Of just like,
Yes.
I can't say it on Twitch. It's a thing. This is my headcanon. What about Quill and Lou? Quill, how do they end their night?
The second, so Quill kind of climbs up into his treehouse and he's kind of excited and he kind of sits down. He's talking with Lou about the interesting person that he met today, and how they were quite nice, a little confusing, but that's usually what happens with new people. But that he's not entirely sure that they actually understand what's going on, and that he thinks that they think that they are still dreaming, and that he's not sure how to break the ice to them that they're not actually dreaming. But then he's also not sure after the comment she made that he's not dreaming. So he's sitting there going back and forth with Lou, just going on and on and on about, is this a dream, is it not a dream? Comparing things that could happen in his dreams and have happened in his dreams to things that have happened in real life, until he eventually just decides that it doesn't really matter, because as long as he's got Lou, he's okay. And at that last little thought, he kind of curls up on his little blanket pile and passes out.
Just off to the side of where you're falling asleep, there's Farland showed you something when you had first arrived here some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
As just a much smaller cat person than you are today.
Yes.
And it's a little book, and it's got little pictures in it. And it's like a stick figure with triangle ears, and then there's Lou beside you, all sketched out. Because she told you, if you make a picture and then you look away and you look back, if the picture's still the same, you're not dreaming. Because it can't stay the same in a dream. And the pages just kind of flutter off like it's an old forgotten technique or memory. And with that, some time passes. And again, if you were on the VOD and had the ability to pause the stream and go and look up some like shenanigans, I get like Carpenter Brute vibes from Agnes, just like
Are we montaging it?
Oh, I'm montaging a little bit, yeah. Because you guys are level 0 and there's things to do. So working together, you see scenes such as you know what, we need less campfire woodland for this, and more like, I don't know, something upbeat. You see like things like Agnes falling off of big logs, swinging back and forth in the trees, failing to catch her balance, and proving once and for all she does not have proficiency in acrobatics. All of those things.
After the third fall, she takes the glass jars out of the bag.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea.
Doing quite well where it comes to plant identification and just like rattling things off, finding your way north, all of the things that you did back on your homestead, your basic survival skills, everything seems to play true here. Quill, you've got several weeks worth of training with Jules. You still take your daily walks with Auntie Far, where she points things out, and you try and remember the things that she mentions, and like Quill, I feel, is a very like squirrel sort of mentality walking with her.
Walking with Auntie Far, I'm actually quite enamored. I am. It's not that I'm squirreling. It's more that I'm anti-farring and just staring at her and being like, I like her voice. She's nice. And while she's describing these things, I'm picking up little pieces that may or may not be relevant, but I'm more so I'm swirling at her because she's just so cool.
You see a scene of Auntie Farland holding Agnes's hands, and you say a word, and Agnes disappears and shunts 30 feet one way as you misty step. Because guess what? You're a Mark of the Passage human, and you get to do that all the time.
As she appears for the first, she goes, well, that's new.
It's in a rose bush, and you're just like, ow, 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 ow. And you're like, I can't do it again. She's like, you won't be able to do it again until you at least take a nap.
Do I get to choose am I always going to end up in a bush, or do I get to choose next time?
50-50.
Fun! Ow, ow.
You see Hoots being instructed in, like, this is probably the hardest part for you, because he's like, all right, here's the thing. We're going to do some math. And not like practical math. I mean like egghead math. Bullshit calculus sort of math. And you see, like, you open a book, and he's like, you start saying a word, and in typical, like, Buffyverse fashion, it catches on fire, and you close the book immediately, and it's like, don't speak Draconic around the books. And all of that. Actually, don't speak Elvish around the books, because that's something that Hoots has. And he runs you through the motions of, like, he's like, here's the differences in magic. All magic, as I understand it, pulls from a weave of magic. Think of it like molecules. Like, you can't see them, but they're there. Or like radio waves. Radio waves are there, and you need a specific sort of device to tap into radio waves, right?
Yep. Depending on the radio, long antenna,
Yeah.
short antenna.
Exactly. And between like ham or like Wi-Fi or whatever. So what we do is we build a box that functions like a radio. Wizards have a book that picks up the Wi-Fi and then starts writing the book, and then it does some shit. Druids are those weird people that can't live in towns that have Wi-Fi and like 5G because they get headaches and stuff, because they can just feel it in their bodies. Like, that's how I always dealt with it anyway. Bards spin a bunch of bullshit, and then everything kind of goes their way. I don't understand that too much myself, but
Are you sure
they
those
just
aren't like politicians or?
For the most part, yeah, that's their superpower.
Politics.
Yeah, and then the clerical folks, they keep track of all the bookkeeping and stuff, and then the clerics, they ask every day. They pick a god, and they say, "Hey, specific god o' mine, can you loan me a $5?" And they'll be like, "Best I can do is $3.50," but eventually you'll get that $5, and it lets them do a bunch of shit. So there's a few things that I can show you that once you get it down, it's like clockwork. Other things take some effort, and you'll only have so much. The man only has so much stamina for choring in the day, but every now and again you can take a good afternoon siesta and get back up and do it all over again. But you only got so much magical oomph in your body, and the more you use it, the stronger you're gonna get. Think of it like a day one farmhand, versus a seasoned old man. That old man will outperform that young boy every day. Same thing here. Right off the hop, you're gonna do one or two things, and you're gonna feel fucking exhausted. And about the only thing that's gonna make you feel better is taking a good long rest for the night. And yeah, so we'll get you fixing. And what is Hoots use as an arcane focus? Like mechanically aside of like using tools and stuff, but like what would Hoots choose to use as a focusing for like firebolt and things?
Ooh.
Not done yet.
No, it's not. Not yet. Oh man. Retroactively, he's got a ring that was his grandfather's, and like his great grandfather's. Gotta do my math correctly. It's old, like it's an old ring. It's gold, and it had something inscribed on the top of it, and it's been like filed off.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? Okay.
So yeah, Cal goes about helping you with some very, very fine jeweler's tools in inscribing. He's like, I'll show you what to put. And it's basically like, think of it like chemistry formulas. And when you get it all just right and you put a little bit of oomph through it, something pretty cool happens. It's like wiring a cabin. If you do it right, it works great. If you do it wrong, you're gonna have a bad day.
All of a sudden, your bathtub's a hot tub, and not the right type of hot tub.
There is that. You're picking up meaning. And it takes, within a little bit of time, like, you're like, oh, it's warm. Ah, my feathers are on fire. That's like, wrong hot tub. I feel like your verbal component for Firebolt is right hot tub. Or something right off the hop.
Please.
Every stream's a hot tub stream from here on out.
I like it.
You want to see the DM in a Speedo.
I still have those pictures.
I
Don't look
know.
up the sun.
My eyes can still remember.
There's he goes about, he's like, there's a couple of things I can show you that are pretty handy. One of which is, hey Clarence, come in here. And you see this portly, fat looking dude with a receding hairline and just coveralls. It's like gumboots. It's like a fat balding version of Daryl from Letterkenny.
Nice.
And he comes in, or it's Squirrely Dan. It's totally Squirrely Dan. He's like, what kind of news you for? And he's like, Daryl, we're gonna need to do the thing. And he's like, oh man, are you sure? He's like, I'm sure. And he's like, okay, boss. And he like puts his hands on his hips and he does this. And Cal shoots him in the leg. Just like, bam! And he's like, oh god, no way! He's like, I'm gonna teach you how to do a thing. And he takes an aerosol can from his bag and he shakes it up and he hands it to you. And the key word for this is if it's supposed to move, this will make it move. If it ain't supposed to move, it's WD-40.
Yeah.
It's like just put a little WD-40 on it. And as you apply, it casts Cure Wounds. Or other spell casting components. And it's like, and the charred hole in his leg just kind of like knits back over, right as rain. And it's like, there's another one, I don't know if you'll pick it up just yet, and he kind of like wiggles his hands for a second, and it looks almost like threads come out from his fingertips like a puppeteer, and you see the cloth kind of mend itself back together. And he pops a little thimble off of his thumb and tucks it back away. And he's like, it'll fix mundane broken stuff. It works pretty good. You know. Yeah, we'll teach you a couple things. Really handy one. And you see the camera kind of fade out as he's like walking you down a hall. If you're gonna blow yourself up, I can teach you how to make it hurt less. And through all of that, you get Erik or Hoots starting with his level 1 abilities of Firebolt and Mage Hand, Cure Wounds, and Absorb Elements, and other. So, sometime goes in and he like outfits you with a leather harness, and it's like, this shouldn't bypass the muscles too much, and keep your wings all bound in. Ain't anything heavier than this, and you're probably liable to have problems, but you know, gets you rigged out right. You're probably going to need a set of goggles because those aviators are going to fall right the fuck off your face if you're any distance up.
That's why they've got the springs behind them. They're designed to keep you on your face.
That's fair. If things break in this world, you'll probably be able to fix them back here. Because I guarantee out there's some douche nozzle that spent too much time on the internet. It's probably going to try and light you on fire from 150 feet away. I'm not saying from personal experience, but I'm saying from personal experience.
So, counter question. Can I, in return, set him on fire from 150 feet away?
I'd peg you, and he kind of looks you up and down and like holds his hand above where your height is, and he's like, I'd peg you about 120 or so, give or take. But later, probably, you know, be okay. Remember that whole putting things right bit? You see folks that come out and start shooting without asking questions, you put them in the ground. You take their shit.
So, is there a spell from your David Copperfield chest there that'll dig a hole faster for me?
You know, there actually is. And so, interestingly enough, Callahan actually knows Mold Earth. Because he took Magic Initiate. That's a thing. Yeah, and he like motions over to one of the vegetable gardens and he does this, and there's a perfectly square 5 foot by 5 foot hole in that soft earth. And all of the 5 feet of earth just kind of like piles up onto the side. He's like, we're real efficient about this kind of shit here.
I'll keep that in mind.
Doesn't work if it's real rocky or whatever, but you know, the effect is there. You ever want to make somebody poop their pants? You dig their own grave in front of them in 6 seconds. It helps.
That would do it.
So, some time passes, and your epic training montage continues of like Hoots doing like barrel rolls in the sky, and you keep hearing from this old like N64 game you probably played as a kid. It's like, do a barrel roll, and you're like, I can't fucking shake this out of my mind. And we zoom back over into the grove, and you see Quill just fucking like darting left and right and left and right and left and right. I'm not going to say anime ninja style because that's not the feel I get from him, but just like quicker than he should be able to.
Yeah, he's heavy, weighed down a bit by the armor, but he is still...
You are muted if you are talking.
I was. He thinks of himself like a dragon, and he's also in this heavier armor, but he's still in his mind. He's thinking of like a dragon low to the ground, like quickly like moving between the trees, having a good time, doing its thing. But he is still a cat, and he has not been on 2 legs for a couple years, but not, you know, as standard as most humanoid anthropomorphic creatures might be. So there is a lot of like quickness, but what you can't see is when he's behind that bush and there's a stumble, there might be a roll. It's not a tactful roll. It's more of a kind of roll.
I like it.
He is very quick for what he can do. He moves fast. He can get from one side of a field to the other in almost a single bound. A lot of jumping down.
Yeah. You see, like, over the course of a month, there's like a hanging target, and it's like a badly crayon drawn like rah kind of monster that is decidedly not a dragon, and it looks nothing like a dragon.
I'm skippy, it's not.
Yeah, and it's got like you see arrows all around it, and they eventually like ping a leg, and eventually it's like pew pew pew, and hit a gong 3 times, and it dumps a bucket of water, and like you're like, I'm pretty sure I am now sufficiently proficient with a longbow, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, as anytime I should note, anytime I'm running and dashing, Lou is still with me. Lou is on me at all times. If Lou is not with me, there is a problem, and I am looking for Lou. But when I'm doing this, there's a little, on the side of my hip, there is a specific holster that kind of like leather clasps around the torso of Lou, so Lou just kind of like sits there hanging around as I'm kind of bounding around the field.
Like those, what is it, the large stuffy purses that Japanese schoolgirls sometimes love.
Sure.
It's a stuffed animal that is also a backpack. Don't
Yeah.
put things inside Lou.
You better not.
This reminds me, actually, Hoots, every now and again, you see one of those like tray tables kind of come to life and do what Cal wants. And there's a stuffed puppet made out of socks. And it occasionally just like it jangles as it walks, like it's full of change or like screwdrivers or something. And anytime that you were going to do something sufficiently dangerous, this little sock puppet walks up to you and it's like, sock puppet, and it touches you and it casts aid on you. Because, yeah,
Okay.
they artificers get tiny servant and then imbue item stuff. So that's a thing. Agnes, over the course of this, you get things like you raise your hands, and you're successfully able to make fire. And it was a little tumultuous at first. You weren't sure if it was going to take or not, because you kind of singed your coat a bunch of times doing it. But
One time it went a little too strong and Tim shuddered a little bit. I moved up a little further away.
All of a sudden, there's like a back part of your house that is just like a chute. Tim kind of pooped a little bit, and it went like, oh no.
I was wondering when I would need an eaves trough.
Yeah.
Good.
You got particularly good with the whole like, you have a whole new appreciation for finding magic stones now, because all stones are magic. You just have to ask. And you've learned the secret word to bring out the magic that exists within stones. Tiny stones, pebbles. You're fairly confident that something like the size of a basketball would be too big, but for the dice-sized stones, absolutely. Most notably, Auntie Farland taught you how rituals work. And there's a thing of like, Agnes, I believe you said, was a homesteader.
Yes.
And like cottagecore homesteader.
Yeah.
You understand that when you're doing things yourself, there's only so much you can do in a day. And she says, doing certain things, knitting wounds, wasting fools, whatever it is that you need to do at any given time. And she like hard flexes when she says wasting fools. It all takes a little bit of stamina. And if you burn yourself out during the day, you leave yourself vulnerable. So there's certain things that we can do that, just like when you ask the stone how its magic works, you can do things that don't take any of your own stamina, because you just ask the land around you to help out. And she begins tracing out lines using a stick of different sigils, and like the words mean something to you now, where it would have just been like wavy lines before. And it's not like this is the symbol for fire. It's more things like this is the symbol for the feeling you get when cold wind pushes across your skin and you get the little bit of goosebumps, but you're still okay. Like that's the kind of symbolism that pulls from this. And she says, if you complete this just right here, and she like lets you finish drawing a line. This is a ritual that will allow you to see magic. You can, once you experience this, put your stamina into doing this, but you may need that stamina for other things. So if you take a good 11 minutes of mechanical game time and draw out this ritual, you'll be able to, as though you had spent the effort, be able to see magic. And as she motions the stick to you to complete it, everything's fucking drugs. Like all of a sudden. Not so much Quill. Quill is like the most normal looking of people here. But you do see, as Quill's like jumping around here and there, on the back of one of the bottoms of his feet, you see a glowing black, like little aura coming off the back of his foot. And you see a similar looking aura coming from just slowly underneath the robe of Farland, where those marks are.
And where have I found my mark to be?
Where was it?
On the back of her left leg.
Okay, like a bad calf tattoo.
Exactly.
You wouldn't really notice it, but you're specifically using a spell to look for it. And as you kind of look around, like Farland is fucking glittering, and there's a general sense of like magic all throughout. And as you let your eyes go out of focus, you start to see like little motes appear here, there, and everywhere, as magical creatures have been around you the entire time that you've been here. Little fae folk, just like hanging out, doing things. She's like, the lexicon of things that you'll be able to do is much broader than any wizard or alchemist or anything of that sort. Bards, and she just kind of like laughs for a second and says, bards. Long and short of it, if there's something that you want to accomplish, put your willpower into it and just do it. Magic will support you. And, every day, when you're sorting yourself out, boil some tea, count your rocks, think about the things you want to be able to do that day, and place them squarely in your mind, and they will be the things that are available to you. And a good majority of the the month that all of this is taking place in, is just like Agnes trying to Misty Step and not end up in a rose bush. I feel like it happens like 18 times out of the 40 times. And there's different things where like she's teaching you how to do wards, and she's like, if there's zombies, here's how you fight off zombies. And like
Agnes has just like an ever-growing sense of wonder. It never seems to get common, even after days and weeks of doing this. Every time something new comes up, she goes, wow, really? Wow, what else can we learn? And there doesn't seem to be any presumption in what the limits or acceptance that all of the wonders that she grew up daydreaming about are actually happening.
And she basically gets you working on, like, use Thunderwave over and over and over and over again to split these logs apart, and do it until I have enough firewood. And practice makes perfect. And you find that you can do it like twice, and then you're spent for the day. You feel like your blood sugar's a little low, and you feel exhausted, and you just want to like sit down, have a good meal, and go to sleep. That's in general what running out of spell slots feels like.
After the first time that I did it without warning poor Quill, and the resounding boom of the grove was probably quite startling, I started warning people before I started practicing.
some of the things that Farland shows you, Quill is around for, and like is kind of practicing with you. He hasn't quite grabbed it yet, but things like when she's showing you how to, you take a very specific kind of leaf and you put it in your mouth and you chew it up, and you rub it on your hands and get it all spit covered in goo, and you just like spread it across a cut, and it forces its way to heal. And I feel like at that point, Quill and Lou's attempt is like he's chewing on the leaves maybe a little bit too long, just because he doesn't quite have the spellcasting class feature yet, and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing just quite yet with it. I
was gonna say, I'm literally like when my cats eat plants.
Yeah.
I'm like super stoked at first, and then I'm deeply regret it, and then I'll try again because I'm super stoked all of a sudden again, and then I regret it. It's kind of back and forth in that motion because there's nothing actually happening when I do this.
And she teaches you to, like, you have some berries, and you close your hands around them, and from a small sprig of mistletoe, out pop 10 berries. She's like, one of these berries will feed a person for an entire day. And you eat 10 of them all at once and no. It's like Goku with a senzu bean, and it's like, what happens if I eat 30 of them all at once? And it's like, why? You'll also notice that some of your fatigue goes away, and you heal 1 hit point per berry.
Yeah. I like to think that she wanted to talk to Quill. The Quill kept doing his running leaps, and so she started trying to run, as like to try and condition herself to keep up. And she got a little faster, but not quite as fast.
David, time?
We've been live for about 2 hours. I say we take a quick 5-minute break, get up, stretch our legs, because health is important when streaming. So let's take that opportunity.
If you want to throw it to the back in 5, we can resume and see where you guys meet up after this.
Excellent.
Cool.
Be right back.
well-deserved pee break here. I have some questions for you guys. Whereabouts, after a month in time, Hoots, you were told that you would likely end up meeting up with with this person that came through the gap with you.
Mm-hmm.
What's Hoots doing in that time on like a personal level? Is he keeping to himself? Is he going through town? Is he surveying the aside from surveying the skies, because you're gonna fly every day. We know that. That is non-negotiable. What's the circumstance here?
Well, Hoots is a pretty wannabe helpful person, having grown up in the cold Canadian North. Neighbors got to help neighbors and all that. So he's been going around using his skills and working with tools and everything to little tasks as he learns more and more about the world around him. He I got a peanut delivery. He's gonna go around like fix things that people are asking for. You know, he's learned the spell mending, so to try and to get a grasp on it, he's using it at every opportunity he has, going around mending little things, helping with general chores around town, just kind of getting a feel for what's going on.
Okay. What about Agnes?
Well, after kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with the day-to-day of living with magic and figuring out like that everything around her is alive, she just started to form habits of her days and routines in her days that help her to kind of stay grounded when things feel very overwhelming, because now not only can the people talk, but the trees can talk, and the water seems to respond, and the stones seem to have a feeling. And she, after developing her habits in the grove, she started taking longer and longer wanders across, kind of trekking through the forest and back, and gradually made her way closer to the town. Never quite all the way into the center, not really wanting to go into the myriad of people alone, and tried to talk Quill into coming with her, if they would, because there seems like there's a lot to see, and we can come back. Everyone seems so nice, and also traveling alone seems ill-advised.
And Quill and Lou?
Quill's more so just excited to be invited. He loves his little tree house. It's very cozy. It matches the lifestyle he likes to live, which is relaxed. But taking a chance to go into town is never something he would pass up.
Okay. I would say that after your month or so of like crash course, as you Boots, Cal comes by one day with something for you, and he says, "Well, clench your bullet hole."
I don't think I have one.
And he stops. Then he rubs his chin thoughtfully for a second. He's like, "There are many things in life a man needs to know. That is not one of those things that I needed to know." How have you... Oh, I don't want to know. That's some South Park shit right there.
It's been a month.
It's been a month. I was wondering about those little pellets that I keep finding, like, in buckets and in corners and shit. I just thought we had, like, rats.
A very large rat.
Yeah. Here's the thing. so we sent word about who you are. We talked about it on our neighborhood watch meetings, so to speak, where we all sit down and talk about the goings-ons and things like that. And Farland's girls uh, doing all right, ready to be tested on a thing, and that there's a little cat fella that has been living with her for about a bit, been around a little bit, and guess he's ready to go too. So you came in about the same time she did, and I feel like you're probably not going to blow yourself up, so you're probably fine. Time to stretch your legs a little bit.
As in?
Well, before we let you guys, well, and I mean, your life is your own. Don't get me wrong here. Before we send you out of the town proper and the surrounding area, where things will just stab you for money and beat you like you owe it money. We generally like propose a little bit of a test training routine. It's a little dangerous, but you're probably fine. Probably be okay. I don't know specifically what Farland has in mind, but her girl needs another person to come and lend a hand, and figure you're probably a good fit.
Well, as I've been saying, many hands make light work. Let's do it.
There is that. Picking stones and pulling teats. Sure as God's got sandals beats fighting dudes with treasure trails.
I have a concern that there's gonna be dudes with treasure trails.
All right, so there's a place in the center of town that some of the bards hang out at. That's the spot.
You now I don't mean to suppose, but the way you say the word bards, I have concerns.
Please elaborate, please. I need to hear this out loud, just so we're on the same wavelength.
Well, you say bards the same way I say skids, and that has me wondering if just for a second that some of our bards are prone to dancing, making fools of themselves.
There's that. I think they often dress themselves up the prettiest in the room and expect everybody else to like fall about themselves. Those tricks I showed you, those bards have a tendency to do things like tricking you into thinking they're pretty, having a way with words of getting what they want out of you. I've known enough people in my time that I didn't take too kindly to. Most of them are fine, but can't party every day. Or the politicians. It's a very like line in the sand sort of deal.
So on one hand, we got people that would be listening to some party rock anthem, and on the other hand, we've got people that you wouldn't leave your drink alone with. I understand.
You know, most of the latter, they're not around here, but I'd say, and I don't understand the reference directly, but I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, like those Devo kind of listening folks. And the back half are like the folks that put on a suit and tie and try and tell you that you're living your life wrong and you just got to vote for them.
Folks from the big city.
Yeah, on the West Coast.
Coming from cities like Calgary.
Fuck those guys.
Anyways.
And he says, pack your shit, go into the woods. And he turns and he leaves. Agnes, Farlin has been gone about 2 days. And, like, you don't see her every day, but left to your own devices. She's basically left you to your studies. Not every day is a, like, we're going to try something new today. Some days are just like, explore, listen, do what you need to do. And it's been a couple of days, and she comes back, and she's got, like, looks like, oh, there he is. We lost a quill for a second. Comes back, and she's pulling something out of her hair and throws it to the ground. Says, Agnes, dear, I think it's time that you and Quill get some practical experience in.
Are we going to talk to more fairies?
Not as such. I have a task for you.
Oh.
What I would like you to do is go into the Western Woods. You'll have to go through town, go into the Western Woods, and use, between you and Quill, I feel like it shouldn't be too much of a challenge, but there will be another initiate with you. I'd like you to go and get something for me. And she says, you'll know them when you see them.
The initiate or what I'm getting?
Both.
Convenient.
So if we've training montage, do I have abilities now?
You do. You are a level 1 ranger.
Okay.
You are all level 1 in your respective classes. Yeah. She says, bring me back the things I'd seek, and you'll know them when you see them. And maybe some things will get in your way. And we'll see how it goes.
I was about to say, I was like, not everything.
The hell was that? Anyways, with that, she says, pack your shit.
I'll be right back. Runs and stuffs the bag full of jars.
Quill, much the same sort of presentation to you. Of, it's time. We're going to have you go and go out and try, and let's see if you're ready to take Lou out and explore a little bit farther beyond the reaches of our place.
Oh, Lou, did you hear that, Lou? This is great. We get to go places that are different.
That's not the voice. I can't remember the voice.
No, that's pretty much it. That did good.
Yeah, so Quill's super stoked. He's not really packing much because he doesn't have much, because he's kind of just got his armor, a little bit of food, like a couple little things here and there, and a little backpack. But everything he has just kind of goes in this backpack, and everything else is just Lou. So Lou kind of goes up into his hood this time, because when they're exploring, you just give him a little kind of the higher up view. And he's pretty much already prepped to go. It's a quick up the tree, grab the bag, and a quick down.
I like it.
Agnes counts out that she had 10 good berries from the night before.
I like it. And that is totally kosher, as we previously discussed. Any druid worth their salt is going to cast good berry the night before, if you had anything left.
I'm going to call it halvesies for prep and say that I had one spell left.
Yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. A little bit of time passes, and coming up into the woods is a scraggly, brown-haired man.
Bye, James.
Oh, did we lose James?
Coming up in the woods, we see a scriggly, brown-haired man. He is currently disco dancing.
Ooh.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's RuPaul with hair.
Well, we should definitely befriend the person.
We don't know who they are yet.
Yep. But we'll just say hi. You obviously are not going to try to hurt us in the woods.
While we wait for James here, I need to figure out my voice. I'll tell you all what. I need to figure out that voice because I had a whole one in my head and it has not once come out. So if people ever end up watching it VOD on from episode 1, it'll be very different from episode 2.
Going to take this opportunity while we're waiting for James to reconnect to thank everyone that's been here through this so far on our first stream while we figure out all this stuff. So
get things situated and introducing people.
Yeah.
I know level 0s can sometimes be a little awkward to watch because there's a lot of learning on our end as well.
Yeah.
But appreciate that. If you are watching right now and you would like to hit us with a follow, that'd be awesome. I don't expect notifications to be turned on, but anything that kind of helps us get to that initial partner is always a good time. If we get a new follow in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to bring my cat out and you can meet my cat.
It's a nice cat.
Exactly. But it does not look like anyone's following, so I guess no one sees the cat.
Yes, exactly.
Hold on a second. You're a lone donut, and your wife is Miss Donut. Why are you still alone? You're not tied at the hip, Donut? You're not... You could be a Boston cream filled donut now. See? You should be Mr. Donut if you got a Mrs. Donut.
Oh,
Oh. That's the wrong camera.
there it is.
You're muted.
How's that? A little better?
Donut, apparently you're muted.
Well, you think doing this for as long as I've done it, I would eventually figure out how to unmute myself. A new microphone, I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt.
Lambo, did you hear any of the callouts he made, or is he muted for all that too?
I was probably muted for all of that. None of those callouts were probably heard. So we're going to do it one more time. From the last 24 hours, I want to thank Brofar, Transplaner Sage, Quigley, Shrek7201, The Netherlandis, Miss Donut, Amber Drake, and Big Gray for following us. We are really excited to have you guys here. We are coming up really quickly on our goal of enough followers to start looking at affiliate. So thank you everyone who's supported us so far and been really amazing. You guys make this possible.
Renzilla just followed. I have to get my cat. 1 second. It was a promise.
Yay!
Renzilla, thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
I definitely almost went into my own personal thing, and I was like, well, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the bakery. I hope you are having a fantastic day.
I can't find the one that is modeled, or that Quill is modeled after, but there's this one.
He is awesome.
This is Oscar.
Hello, Oscar.
He's here to have a good time.
One day I'm going to come over and just be allergic to your house. And so happy.
James, how are you doing?
I am better now because my Shaw connection is actually back. We lost it to the host for a second, but here we are. So. Anyways,
This cat
I don't know how much of my diatribe you caught before I went blurk.
You said we saw a man in the woods, and that was it.
Yeah.
But
Were we
okay,
alone?
so-
Our cell phones are dead?
Yes.
I'm covered in cat hair now. Forgot about that. That cat
You
is
forgot that cats exist? All right. So when last we left our heroes, Agnes, you and Quill saw a scraggly-looking man walking through the woods in a long reddish-brown coat with a leather mantle, and at his side, how tall's Hoots? About 5'8"?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, a couple inches shorter than Callahan comes the Owl Man that you came through to this place with,
I think they're coming
outfitted
over.
with like a tactically modified sling bag, carefully riding right around his hip or so it doesn't interfere with his wings. And
I see this giant bird, and my ears go, and my eyes go, and I'm just like slightly shaking in excitement, but keeping myself in control.
like it. And you just see like the tail just like slowly vibrating back and forth and back and forth.
Precisely.
And yeah, up comes the Owlman. Erik, Hoots, as you're coming forward, you see the weird lady in the gumboots with who dropped all the rocks, and she's standing there, and somehow, if it were possible, that big old purse messenger bag that she had on her hip is even more bulgy now. And you got a high enough passive perception here. It looks like she added an extra pocket to the front of it, and there's just like a massive slab of wood inside.
Like,
It's my shield.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
arts and craft time, kids. It could save your life one day.
But
And
no one's there. I was not prepared.
standing beside who you will learn to be Agnes is again a very excited-looking cat boy.
Do not say the term cat boy, please.
Fair enough. Not a cat
We don't
boy.
want to attract the. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Hoots, and I'm just like, I like kind of walk up, and I'm like, because I'm assuming I know the person beside him.
You would have seen Callahan Lalder before.
Yeah, I don't think they're bad.
He
And I
lives
just
down by
kinda-
the river.
Yeah, and I just kind of walk up, and I'm like, hello, I'm Quill. This is Lou. I kind of point down up to Lou in my hood. Oh, you're a very big bird. It's nice to see. I won't eat you. I kind of say nervously as like trying to like as a peace offering.
Same to you.
Wow, I guess you do eat meat. Well, okay, that's fair.
Nature's a beautiful thing.
Nature's terrifying.
In the circle of copyrighted music.
Look, we're so close to affiliate, we're almost there to start paying Disney for licensing.
True.
I mean, I do see the hat that David's wearing, so yeah.
It's perfectly legal.
Agnes is going to walk up and say, I saw you. I saw you when we first arrived. How are you?
Not so bad. Yourself?
Oh, I've been great. I made a lot of friends, and I think we were supposed to meet with you. That seems like something that Antifar said. Antifar's really nice, by the way. You should meet her someday. I'm sure you will.
Standing like 100 feet back behind you, and you see the scruffy-looking man beside Hoots just like shudder for a second, like, and like step forward and walking past you, leaving you guys to chat amongst yourselves. The grown-ups are gonna go talk.
I kind of look to Hoots and I go, I wonder if that kind of... Wow, that was a wrong one.
Yeah. That was
It's December.
I wonder if they're going to be like... If they got a history and that's why he's scared. Because she's pretty big.
Well, he does look a little squirrely, and, you know, as men are wont to do. Sometimes, scary big ladies.
Before you, you see Farland, Antifar, a buxom and just like burly. Think, if I could pick a body type, Louisa from Encanto. She's just like fucking jacked all the way throughout and broad, but is dressed in more feminine features or attire, and is quite a bit shorter than him, and he's just very like, yep, yeah, and just like half wincing every time she goes to like answer him, and it amounts to, he's like, he like, they have some quick words. It's a little far beyond. Agnes, you get a passive of 15. You probably pick up on some like, yeah, I think he'll do okay. No, he won't set your woods on fire. I'm pretty sure he'll do us. Yes, I'll talk with him. I will remember. Yes, I will remember next time. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I have to go now. Okay, bye. And he like turns and at a brisk pace comes walking past towards you. Hey, Hoots, he claps you on the arm and he says, "Don't burn the lady's woods down, and I gotta go." And he fucks off.
Toodles.
It's always awkward, you know, says Agnes. It's always awkward when people go to leave when you're leaving in the same direction. Oh, Callahan! And goes to walk in the direction we were sent, which is the same direction that Cal is going.
Hoots, you have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Absolutely none.
Yeah.
I get about, I'm gonna say 25 feet away before I realize that no one else is coming with me.
I like it. And then?
I'm gonna come back and be like, right, plans. So is Antifar still over there?
Yeah. Oh, she's back at
Okay.
the front of her house.
Okay. I assume that Quill was brought up to speed on what, like, Antifar told both of us what we were going to be doing.
Yep. Quill
Okay.
was totally standing right there.
Wonderful. Well, let's go make sure there isn't anything else she needs to tell us, but new friend, we are supposed to go to the Western Woods and get a thing that apparently we're just going to know what it is. And if someone else happens to know what that might mean, that would be great.
I kind of pull Lou out from my hood. I'm like, I don't think it matters which way we're going. Lou will point us the way, and I just kind of like spin around really quick and point Lou out. I'm like, we're going that way.
And with my ability to know directions and spaces and what's going on around me in the forest, I say he's going in the correct direction. Wonderful. Let's follow Lou.
I won't make you roll for it. That'd be such a dick move.
First roll of the campaign. Roll for directions.
You know, I like that. First roll of the campaign. Roll me a d4. Let's see if it's right.
Oh my gosh. Who?
Quill.
Okay.
Quill roll on a d4. Okay.
/r space 1d4.
I got 4 on the trucker.
You're going in the right direction. I like it.
Nice.
So I gotta take him out. I like put him back, and I kind of put him back in the hood, his little head kind of sticking out. And I just start like just kind of marching off all confidently.
I
Now,
like it.
I lean over to Agnes and go, now to be sure, we're following a cat and a stuffed toy.
That's Lou. I don't recommend that you touch him. But yes, that's exactly what's happening. Come along.
Well, suppose there's nothing better to do.
Are you hungry? And I'll toss him a good berry. Just so you can hold on to one.
I will keep this for this like unknown berry. I'll be like,
I'll chatter
What do
along as we
Agnes's
walk
good
in.
berries look and taste like?
So Agnes channels her magic depending on her mood in the morning. So naturally, the good berries change slightly as she goes along. So they're always a berry. Sometimes they're a blueberry, sometimes it's a raspberry, sometimes it's a blackberry-esque fruit. Today are some rather plump blackberries.
I like it. And Quill being like, I am a cat. Because blackberries.
Yep.
I'm just marching ahead because no one has stopped me, and I just going along. If people are following, then that's great. I'm hoping they are, but I'm not paying any attention to people behind me. I'm just moving forward.
Understood. I'm just turning on. There we go. So it's getting to be a little later in the day, and you pass through the town proper, and the sights and sounds kind of take you all, because for the most part, like you're outside city center at this point. The Womb is a kind of a bustling sort of place, but not like Calgary-esque, but like quite a bit smaller. It's still kind of a shock to the senses because you're relatively remote in your trainings. And with Quill leading the way and being like, yep, dish way, and leading you out, skirting the outside of town, you run to a darker set of woods. And as you start working your way through, Agnes, your senses pick up on this quite a bit, where the flora and fauna are quite a bit different from where you were at. And it's imposing. The branches kind of twist and cover. If we were talking about a Magic the Gathering color, it would be black, where you're coming into here as a point of reference. And everything, just like it's crows and the buzzing of insects. The path is clear as you walk forward, and the light is oppressed as you're coming in here. It is dark, to the point that Agnes, you actually have to hold your what color is your flame?
It would be kind of a green at the base and then orange at the ends. Oranges and burgundies.
So like when you put the magic fire into a campfire.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it. I get the feeling of like Agnes's maybe not exactly childhood of being like, I'm a witch.
Yeah.
And like buying a bunch of dollar store magic flames.
It's like this is what dreams are made of.
This is what dreams are made of. At any point during the trek from the Grove to the Western Woods, have you shared, like, aside from Quill and Lou, have you shared what your names are?
No.
With each other?
No.
No. Okay.
Literally, I was introduced as the bird person, she was the rock lady, and that was good enough for me.
I'm told we're fated to be friends. I guess I don't need to know your name. Hi, I'm Agnes.
Well,
Agnes Trimplyn. My friends call me Eggy. I think you're probably my friend. Please don't stab me in the back. That's where I keep all my good rocks.
Ain't. One, that would make stabbing you in the back rather hard. Two, um,
Two?
ain't no good stabbing a person in the back. And
Because then you
three,
can't watch their life drain from their eyes? Or what's the reason for that one?
it's bad form. Not a good way to be living your life, stabbing people in the back.
Ooh, that's very polite of you.
And three,
You struggled on two, so
I'm smart. I'm not wise. I'm Erik. Erik Mannöilah. My friends just call me Hoots.
I like it. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. He's pretty fast, so we better keep up.
Yeah, we should probably.
as I'm walking forward, I'm just kind of like looking around, trying to see if I could pick it up, and like, 'cause I don't know what I'm looking for, so I'm kind of looking for everything. Is there anything that catches my little feline eyes?
you know, let me move you over to a map. You probably have armor on, I'm gonna say.
Yes.
You did and we'll just pause there for a second. You did buying stuff, so probably studded leather, I think.
Hold on, I have it written down. I can tell you exactly what I was expecting
Beautiful.
to buy. Just basic leather armor, actually.
Okay, fair enough.
And then, yeah. I planned to. Why is this not?
I'm throwing it onto your sheet for now. You can figure out the gold and stuff off stream.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have an AC of I don't have a class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weapons or anything like that he would have had?
I think I was going with daggers and the light crossbow, which I should have proficiency with.
Understood. It looks like you probably do. There you go. And daggers. You will see them now on your character sheet.
Excellent. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have a daggers. I had a hand axe. Hand axe and a light hammer were the two things I spent money on.
Understood. Got it. Just in case. Just in case. No foreshadowing here in any way, shape, or form.
No chance at all that we need
No,
to know
not
what
the hand
we
of
have
Vecna. The hand axe.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
There we go. So as you guys step into the forest here, Agnes, I'm just going to give you a little touch of light because you don't have dark vision.
Do not.
And would you throw produce flame into the chat for me and the audience for just a second, please? A
Absolutely.
little speech bubble on your spell sheet.
Yes. There you are.
Thank you kindly. 10 foot bright, 10 foot dim. Now, I will say, for the audience's sake, the lighting that the characters see is going to be a little different for you. You're able to see through each of the characters' eyes all at the same time. It was just an easier way to make sure that we don't lose you moving around the map and stuff. And Hoots, you've got some dark vision goodness. And Quill, you've got some dark vision goodness. I like you. I'm gonna drag you over to the map. Working at. And perfect. Throw up roll 20 for me, please, Hoots.
Done and done.
Excellent. So you find yourself, Agnes is like kind of picking through some of the rocks that you guys have encountered. She's holding this magic flame above her head and being like Hoots, you've seen this before. You remember probably like cooking a hot dog over top of one in your teenage years and being violently ill afterwards and be like, it was terrible choices.
Is that safe?
We all did it.
Mhm.
And she's holding this flame and kind of using it like a candle lantern torch. And with that, Quill, actually, everybody, roll me perception checks, please. Yeah, you never need the audience character sheet.
18.
Oh,
It's weird that it didn't roll with your name on it. Oh, Mac, at the bottom of your chat, you can choose who you're rolling as, and if you choose Quill, it'll actually put a tag by you. There you go. And your rolls will come out as yourself as well.
Okay. What did you roll, Agnes?
18.
Oh, I thought that was mine.
Yeah. Nope.
You have to drag your mouse when the dice are.
There we go. 24.
Nat 20.
There it is.
Get that nut 20, baby.
Quill, you're looking about, and you specifically see, like, just off in the distance, it's outside your field of dark vision, but you are able to make out just over here, where I'm pinging on the screen for you, there's a faint blue glow, and it almost looks like green at the base with kind of an orange around it, and then a faint blue around that. Similar to what Agnes has in her hand.
I quickly make note of this. I kind of like walk over to Agnes and I'm like, hey, there's one of those other glowy things over there.
Agnes is going to kind of reach her hand into a pocket and kind of quietly mutter a few words to herself and hand you 3 stones and say, we should try to be quiet. And you've got 3 magic stones.
Okay.
For your sling.
I don't have.
If you want to throw the spell into the chat, we
I don't have a sling.
Oh, then I'll.
You will in a second, because we thematically wrote it into some dialogue and shit. It'll be okay, I promise. You're proficient with it. There you go. And perfect.
Thank you, Doug.
And Agnes, what is your wisdom modifier?
My wisdom modifier is on the other tab. My wisdom modifier is 3.
Perfect. There you go. There you go. The sling on your character sheet is for Agnes magic. There you go. So, the magic stone spell, of course, pulls from Agnes's spell casting and not yours.
Yes.
So, thankfully, a lot of things line up and it makes it easy for me. But, perfect. Yep. You've got some things. That being said, Quill, with a natural 20 on your perception check, you notice something else. There's movement everywhere in this forest. And you kind of like look, and you kind of catch movement in the trees. And there's creatures that are sizably bigger than you, just kind of like slowly moving around.
Can I tell what they are?
Roll me a nature check.
Heck yeah.
Based on physiology.
Nat 1, baby!
You're like, it's bigger than me, and there's some shiny rocks over there.
I kind of look to the group and I'm like, Lou says there's some big things around here, and there's the shiny rock, and I don't like these things because they're a lot bigger than me, and I think that we should grab your rock and run. That's also the wrong voice, but that's okay.
Okay.
That is all good, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think the sooner we get in and the sooner we get out, the better off we are.
Okay. Is it obvious that these creatures noticed that we're there?
You're seeing movement in trees. It's hard to say, especially not knowing what they are.
Okay, I'm going to get down onto all fours, and I'm going to start crawling towards that rock.
Which one? Oh, the glowy one.
Glowy rock. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm assuming I need to stealth for this.
You would. Yep. While you're doing that, Hoots and Agnes, what are you thinking?
Go ahead.
No, okay. I'm kind of looking at the glow ahead and looking at myself and thinking about how much of a target this is currently making me. But I can't see otherwise, so I'm going to keep it on. And if Quill pointed out the things in the trees, I would try and see if I was seeing them in all the trees, or if there were on like one side, or if there was somewhere that I could keep my distance as we make our way around.
A very limited amount of visibility here. It's not pitch black, but it is certainly low. And like when he points it out, you see like an outline of a tree, say like off in the distance over here.
Okay.
And you kind of let your eyes go out of focus for a second. What was your perception? 18's pretty good. And yeah, you see like there's branches, and then there's more branches, and then there's more branches, and then there's more branches, and it just kind of like the shadow keeps moving and like filling up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I rolled a 15 with disadvantage. That's my low.
Fair enough. And before we grab to that, Hoots.
Now, sorry, where was he seeing things?
So,
Again?
when Quill quickly like pointed out, he pointed out in this direction. He saw something up in the trees.
Okay. The tree that is,
You can click and hold wherever you like, and we'll see.
Oh, apparently I can't.
As long as you're on the selector tool and roll 20, you should be able to left click and hold.
It'll do that.
Oh.
There you go.
Well, that was me.
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah.
It's it's not pinging.
Okay.
Whereabouts?
Oh, there we go.
In relation to... There you go.
That tree right there. Can I see anything in it?
The perception check you had, you don't.
Okay. And now...
You've got a good amount of vision being a owlin.
Yeah. How high up is that tree going to get me if I, like, landed on top of it, too?
It's pretty beefy, probably minimum of 30 feet, give or take, to the stoutest branch on top.
Yeah, I'd like to move to there.
Cool. Feel free to move your token.
While he's doing that, I am making my way.
Yeah, you creep Quill forward. And I'm just doing some rolls.
I can now see that blue circle.
Yeah, you can.
I am also going to move up slightly with my party.
Okay. Roll a stealth check at disadvantage, Agnes.
Okay. Nope. Nope. All those rocks are just going jangle, 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 jangle.
Yeah, move yourself up wherever you were going to put her. That's right. Right there. Cool. unfortunately, with a 13, not beating the
That wasn't
AC
a
of.
13, it was a 3.
It was a natural one.
Oh, sorry,
At
a
disadvantage.
natural 1 at even worse.
Yeah. At keeping ourselves honest.
With that, you see this sticky glob shoot out from a tree and land around you, and it's surrounding part of your body. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Sorry, this is a PG stream.
Look, we already did this on the Make-A-Wish stream.
I know, that's what I'm referencing.
Dexterity saving throw, please.
Sorry. It's an 11.
You find yourself bound in this web. And with that, what reveals itself to you... no, I don't want to draw it. I want to pull it out from the jam layer. There we go. Womp. You and the audience and everybody else see this thing like slowly like crawl its way forward. And I'm just gonna double check because we got about a 6-second delay that it's yep.
Yes.
I apologize, David. You're gonna have to click in the audience screen to get rid of that for the audience.
Okay.
And I need everybody to roll initiative.
10.
Oh, and make sure that you select your character token when you go to roll initiative. Don't worry about it right now, Hoots. I'll just add you to the turn order. Okay. Oh, sorry, 16. There. And show me potato salad.
Never had potato salad.
Listen.
I'm assuming I'm no longer stealth.
We'll actually get to that part here in just a second. As Hoots, you actually you see this quite clearly. Not just the big one that just wed Agnes, but another one starts crawling out of this tree, crawling out of this tree, and crawling out of this tree.
Agnes cannot see this, I'm assuming.
Agnes cannot. Agnes has a little flame in her hand and is like, ah! I'm doomed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It happened in December too.
It did.
Why is it always me?
Why am I rolling?
I don't know. You clicked roll initiative twice in a row.
No, I'm not touching my mouse. My hands are here.
I didn't do it. I promise.
It's all good.
Well,
with that,
you should reset mine then, because it brought me to 18.
Yes.
And it was 10.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll fix it here. All right. This giant wolf spider starts booking it out of the tree, coming down at you guys, just popping out a character sheet. There we go. I don't need to look at Melissa or David right now. You know what? I don't need to look at myself. What am I saying? I'm not that bad. And with a speed of 40, it clambers its way down this rock face, and it rears back and tries to sink these big meaty palps into it. Like you see this fleshy bit open up, and the fangs expose and sink down into you. That would be a 14 to hit Agnes.
That will miss.
Cool. And it sinks down, and you're like, ah! And it catches into your purse, your messenger bag, and it with a heavy thunk against wood. It's like trying to pull your bag away from you, and it's like, ah! And you see this by the glitter of your fire, just faint bits of green-looking ooze coming out of its mouth.
We gotta turn the music down a bit.
Absolutely. That should do a little better.
Perfect.
Yeah. Audience should be set at about 50% in the master volume for that. But there we go. Agnes, it's your turn with a 19.
So I've got flame, goo, dagger.
And you are restrained.
Restrained. I have a dagger.
You do?
And I can stab it. Or I can try to stab it. 19.
A 19 will absolutely hit.
For 6 points of slashing damage. Or piercing. Sorry, piercing. My apologies.
I like it. It is worth noting, being restrained, that your attacks have disadvantage
Okay.
while you're stuck in here, but the 19 was the lower of the two rolls, so it's
Yep.
fine. That was your action. Anything as a bonus action for you?
No, not this round.
All right. Erik Hoots Mannöilah.
Seeing Agnes being attacked, I'm going to pull my crossbow and take a shot at this spider.
Cool. Go ahead and roll it. Roll that beautiful beam footage.
Oof. Nope.
Unfortunately, a natural one does not do. And I refuse to do the whole you rolled a nat 1, and it embeds itself in the back of her skull, killing her first level character.
Better than me.
No. Rules as written. Cool. That's your action. Any bonus actions for you?
I'm going to. I think I'm gonna move out of the. I don't know. That would be movement. I can do that and move. I'm gonna leap from my tree branch, and I'm gonna keep in the air, but I'm gonna move to about here.
Roughly how high up are you sticking?
Well, you said the tree branch was about 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm gonna keep it at about that 30 feet.
Cool. You have a wing icon on you with a 30 attached to it.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Giant wolf spider. Which one are you? Not you, not you. Oh, we're going with you, eh? I see how it is. It's going to... 35, 40. Quill is technically hidden from 3 of them, or was hidden from 3 of them. Not from this guy down in the south. A little bit easier for him to see you from the vantage point. And it starts and it raises up. And Quill, you've got a reasonably decent passive perception, and you see the faintest glyph of kind of a glowy silvery blue magic right about here in its fuzzy little chest.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings its teeth down and goes to bite you. That would be a 13 to hit Quill.
Negative.
All right, beautiful. That's its turn. This fella over here. And it starts crawling forward, and it's looking around, and it looks up, and it sees Hoots. And it kind of if spiders could be go fuck yourself. And it looks over and it sees Quill, and you see it kind of shake its butt a little bit. And a web ball ends up coming towards you.
Me?
You. Yep.
Okay.
That will be a critical hit.
No. I don't see anything in the chat.
So that's going to be...
I mean, I literally don't.
Oh, yes. Everything behind the DM screen is hidden.
Okay.
6 points of piercing damage to Quill.
Okay.
And I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay.
That hurt.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some
Am I good
There's-
too? Yeah. Okay.
You are not with a dexterity save of 21. It's all around you, but no, you are perfectly fine.
Googless. Hit 90's
And
come.
I'm just gonna go and throw some of this goo to the map layer so Agnes can move her token properly.
Thank you.
There we go. Cool. There you go. Yeah, you definitely avoided the brunt of it, but it still kind of like cracked you off the side of the arm, and maybe you're probably feeling it pretty hard. With that, Quill, it is your turn.
Yes. This spider that has. So I'm technically engaged with the one that attacked me first. The second one is just going at a distance from me.
Yep. It made a ranged attack at you.
Right. Okay. I'm going to turn to the one because I got this one that he kind of missed me. I kind of dodged it back as like this kind of web ball smacked into me, and I'm just going to quickly like and just like fling an arrow towards it.
Nope.
My longbow for an 18.
That's so. It's technically only a 10. You're making a ranged attack while in melee combat range with a creature.
Oh, right. I forgot about that rule.
So, a 10, unfortunately, does not hit the AC of the spider.
I've never played with that rule before.
It is a thing. Warlocks, man. It is one of those things that ingrains in their head because it's the only thing that screws up Eldritch Blast.
Yep.
All right. Anything else from you, Quill?
No, I would have not done that whatsoever if that was if I knew that was the case. So
You know what? I am a merciful God. Let it never be said that I am not a merciful God, and I will never allow a misreading of the rules to ruin your day. So we did what we did, and it's Quill's turn. And he
okay.
didn't do that. He didn't do that thing. What are you doing?
No, sorry. I've always, because I have a lot of warlocks in my games that I run, I always just let them use it up close, like a burning hands kind of thing. So it didn't even dawn on me.
Warlocks needed more help. Yeah.
They're all players. So, okay, I graciously will accept that. And instead with the one that's just kind of come at me, it's kind of like went to go bite at me, something hit me in the shoulder and kind of spun me around. And as I'm spinning around from being hit, I'll swing out with my longsword and do a barrel roll as I do that. But not actually a jumping barrel.
Long sword or short sword?
My short sword, sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're a dex ranger.
Yes.
Yeah, a 19 will totally hit this spider for 9 points of piercing damage.
Cool.
The maximum amount of damage that you can pull out of a short sword right now.
Yes. Can I?
It is still up, but it is looking really hurt.
Can I aim at its legs when I do that, or?
I think tactically, yeah, that these are stylized giant wolf spiders. Like, you hacked through a bunch of its legs and into its torso with that.
Okay.
You removed, well, most of its hit points in a single strike. Like, it's hurting. It's having a bad day. All right. Are you gonna stay put?
I can't suffer because that one can do range. This one can do ranged. I cannot suffer an attack of opportunity at the moment, so I'm gonna stay
Understood.
right where I am. The only thing I'm gonna do is kind of tuck Lou a little farther in my hood.
I promise, no matter what happens to you, Lou will be fine.
Can't promise that.
Lou will always outlive you. Always.
'Cause he's
At
a-
least, yeah. Yes. This fella climbs up the tree 30 feet and distance. Oh, not quite enough. Crap. All right. Kind of like Hoots, you see it like rear back and raise its palps up, and it hawks a loogie at you, and it like it's coming right for you, and you don't even need to do a barrel roll, as it just like and it lands like here, in between you and Quill.
I just get a panicked look as another ball of web comes flying towards me and just barely misses me.
I like it. Now, giant wolf spider that is trying to eat Agnes, again it's gonna rear back and try and take a small bite out of you. Once again, you are restrained.
Yeah.
So it's attacking with advantage, so that's going to be a hit on you with a 23.
Okay.
7 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Yeah, you're fine. So you took 7.
Yeah.
And it's your turn.
I don't play with Roll20 all the time. What are you talking about? It's my turn. I would like to stab it once
Okay.
more.
Mhm. That'll do.
And the,
With the ferocity, so it's not a critical hit because you do have disadvantage on the attack.
yeah,
But with the 3 damage that you would do, it didn't have a whole lot left. And you like it's rearing up to try and stab into you, and you're like and catch it right into its meaty abdomen, and you see a quick flash as this silvery blue magic rune that was on its belly just erupts for a moment, and the thing just like goes limp, and it wisps away as if the body wasn't there at all ever.
okay. And
You are still restrained in its goopy webs.
except I use Misty Step and I get out of it.
All right then, boss.
So I'm just gonna come. Hoots is 30 feet above me,
Yeah.
and I'm
You
just
can't
gonna.
see who.
I can't see. No, I can't see Hoots out of my vision, but I'm not gonna put my character on the same spot here, and that will end my turn.
All right. Misty Step is bonus action. Hoots, you're like surveying the battlefield, and you're like, I am the god of the skies. And you see Agnes Shankovich. What are you up to?
I'm actually gonna try a trick that Callahan taught me. So I'm gonna cast Firebolt against the one in the tree.
I like it.
So, that's gonna.
We said not to burn his forest down.
Yeah. Well.
This is the other forest. It's fine.
So through Grandpappy's ring, you think about it for a second, and you're like, oh yeah. Right to the hot tub.
It looks like that's a 9 to hit.
It does look like a 9 as it whoofs out, and you're like, that was fucking impressive.
That
And it
was
just-
so cool.
For just a moment, I could see.
Yeah. And you see Hoots like laying down, suppressing fire into the trees. What else you got, boss?
I'm actually trying to think. Did that land anywhere near him? Oh no, never mind.
It
Never mind.
probably like smoked out like somewhere over to here.
Yeah.
Maybe some singeing, but it's fine.
Okay. I'm going to, because I saw him getting wise. I am gonna move to about. Hold on. Yeah. I'm gonna move to here while still in the air.
All right. I like it. All done?
Hold on.
This filler, who is like severely like bleeding out, just bears down on Quill. Sorry, spiders down on Quill.
Ah.
Her.
Ooh.
That's gonna be a 7,
That does not hit, thankfully.
fortunately. All right. Then the one that shot a web at you earlier is going to step forward step forward, and step forward. Quill, you can take an opportunity attack.
You're just being nice.
I'm not.
I
You
swing
don't have the
around
lowest hit.
my short sword, and I'm gonna miss.
And it crawls up. Agnes, this thing like barrels in. It is terrifying. Like spiders are fine. This thing's like an arachnophobia sort of thing. And it looks at Agnes, and it looks up, almost like with this silvery kind of glimmer in its eyes, like it has this intelligence for a moment. And it turns up, and it rears back, and it goes, and it shoots at Hoots, who is 30 feet in the air within its range. That's going to be an 18 to hit you, Hoots.
That's gonna hit.
That's going to be 7 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
You said 7 points?
7 points, yep.
8.
Cool. You are affected by the poison condition. As in, your attacks have disadvantage, and your ability checks have disadvantage.
Okay.
No extra damage on these, but yeah. Quill.
Yeah, I just kind of turn back, and my eyes are just kind of wide, my tail's kind of bushied up. I've just kind of like swung at this thing that ran past me, and then in the same kind of motion, I kind of swing back at the next one. I kind of crash back down on it with my short sword, or I'm going to try to, and I'm going to hit that thing with a 19 for
And
another.
as you push your way through, it's a piercing weapon, and you're just like, ah. It severs what remaining connection it had with life, and you see again that silvery sort of wisp come off of its chest, and like a cat that got into the craft bag, there is glitter.
Is that rune that was on its chest still there, like as a stone on the ground, or?
It is not, and the spider's carcass is completely gone.
Okie doke. I'm going to move towards the 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm moving towards that stone.
All right.
It was my initial thing, and as a cat, my little thing is I go towards the shiny things.
So as a tabaxi, you can just double your movement.
Oh yeah.
Once around. You want to make it all the way over there.
Can I get there, grab it, and start heading back?
You'd have 60 feet of movement from where you were at. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
believe.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah, I'd give it to you.
Okay.
You get over and you look down, and it's this small knit pouch. And it's got these clickety-clackety math rocks inside that Agnes had the day that she showed up,
Yeah.
that are no longer on her person.
I'm going to grab said rocks and run back. I'd make it about here.
Yeah, give or take. Cool. Giant wolf spider that is in the trees is like... starts slowly climbing down its tree. 60. There you go. And that is all of the movement that it has because we're going vertical, and it had to dash. Agnes, you see a giant wolf spider in front of you.
Yes. Don't feel very well. I would like to do a potentially dangerous thing and take the flame that I've been holding in my hand and throw it at it, casting myself into darkness.
Cool.
Oh,
So here's an interesting gimme about webs and the web spell and how it works with homebrew monsters. You missed the spider, and you hit all the webs that are in the back, and they immediately burst in flames because that's how web works. I need you to roll me 2d4, please.
Oh,
It takes 3 points of fire damage as the web that was previously holding you, that it just like walked along and was like rawr, erupts in flames and starts burning away quickly.
The frustration I've given a DM when they gave me a wand of web, and I would consistently use it in hallways full of enemies and then light it on fire over and over again, brought much joy to my heart.
Like you do.
and as a bonus action, I would like to cast Healing Word on myself, because I think I'm just as close to dead as everyone else.
And for anybody that's questioning that, when you're on an airplane, you put your mask on yourself before your Hoots babies.
I can't heal anyone else if I die.
There's that.
And I really, really need to not die.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
that'll end my turn.
Hoots.
I'm gonna pull back 1 space and go down 25 feet,
Okay.
which should keep me just in the air out of... Hey, hi, Ben. I need you to leave, please. I love you dearly. And then I'm going to try again with Firebolt on the spider that is currently on fire.
All right. Fair enough. If you miss, you're not going to do anything extra to it.
No,
because
but I figured
web is already-
fires. I figured fires are good.
You hit it.
Excellent
for
for
1 point of fire damage.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Nickel and diamond.
Yeah.
Nickel and diamond.
You hit its 13 AC.
Great.
All right. Anything else for you, sir?
No, I think that's it.
You get the feeling that it had about 30 feet worth of range on its ranged attack.
Okay.
Giant wolf spider's turn, and it's all like squealing around, and it like steps out of the web and comes flailing into Agnes. That is a 12 to hit you.
That will miss me.
Cool. Quill! You got a big healthy spider bearing down on you.
Yes. And it is still, this time, within not great range to use a bow.
Yeah, actually, you could totally use a bow right now. It is not within a threatened square of you.
Oh, a threatened square. Well, then yes. Oh no, because I'd have to put my thing away and do the whole. Can I use an action to pull my bow out, or is that just part of the thing?
You would drop your short sword.
Yeah.
And it would be on the battlefield where you're dropping it, and you can draw your bow as a part of an attack.
And okay, I can still move after that. Cool. I'm gonna do that because I don't want this thing coming close to me. So I'm gonna do that.
There's some big burny flames burning up the webs in front of you.
Me?
Yeah, just over here north of where Agnes is. These flames are just like kind of trickling along where all of the webs were.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot out with that longbow.
Which target?
The one bearing down on me from the tree.
All right, fair enough.
Because you said I could shoot out the longbow, right?
You do.
Perfect. So that's a 16 to hit.
There you go.
7 damage. I'm also gonna make it my favorite
Totally.
foe right now.
Okay. You want to throw the ability into the chat with the speech bubble? Because we have some new Tasha's things.
Yes. I just feel like
For the next minute, including the turn that you mark it, you can increase your damage by a d4. Please roll a d4.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright,
Gotta love that one.
I do.
Baby.
And let's see, what color are... Cool. The green dot is to match the green dice that you're rolling, so we can denote that it's marked by you.
Sure.
Anyone?
Can't move.
Okay.
And I can't move my double because I already moved. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that'll be me.
Alright. This guy that you just shot is like... it steps over to here, and it's going to try and shoot Quill.
Of course it is.
You're within range, and you just shot it in the face. That is an 18 to hit you. That's going to be 3 points of damage.
Well, that's
And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. So 3 points of damage, and you are not restrained, but there is a fair bit of sticky happenstance all around you. Right there.
Hot.
Not. There you go. Agnes. Oh, yeah, Agnes.
Oh boy. How high up is the one with the green dot?
It's on the ground, but it's
It's on the ground.
you cannot currently see very well.
The webs are on fire.
Ambient flame. Yeah, there's some ambient flame coming off the web, so you can kind of make out shadows and stuff. But I'd say if it's a ranged attack, you're probably at disadvantage unless you have produce flame in your hand.
Right. So if I go over here, sorry, I'm moving myself around I'm never leaving his area. I am putting myself far enough away from my allies on the ground so that when I go and cast Thunder Wave, it won't hit them. 15-foot cube.
Okay.
Centering on me.
Which one are you targeting for this?
So it's, I'm going to send it into chat.
So, 15-foot cube, so 3 squares. Which 3 squares are you targeting of that?
So if I'm here,
Yeah.
oh, I can't get them both. Okay, I started here. Sorry,
So,
I'm moving. I know I'm moving my token a lot.
The point of origin, say, is like your hand, and it can be in any direction that you're in. Which way
Then
would you like to
I'd
push
rather
it?
not spend it. I wanted to try and get them both, and if I can't get them both, I'm not going to blow that on them. I'm going to throw another produce flame at the one that I know is directly in front of me.
Okay.
18 to hit.
Sorry, you're using a produce flame on the one directly in front of you?
Yeah.
It is a ranged attack.
Which
so
is a 14 to hit, sorry. Yeah.
But a 14 does, thankfully, hit the thing for 4 points of damage. Hoots, I forgot to say, you were poisoned for that firebolt, but the 13 was the lower anyway, and it still hit.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Anything else from you, Agnes? You still have a bonus action.
I'll use it to heal Quill.
Alright.
Quill, you get back 4 points.
Sweet. I'm not on death's door.
I like it.
I can't lose my second life.
Hoots.
Hoots is going to move here and land.
Okay.
And cast Tasha's toxic or caustic brew. So
I like it.
30 feet long, 5 feet wide. So that'll cover both of our spiders.
And a dex save from both of them.
Yep.
So that'd be a 12 and a 20.
So the 12 will be covered in acid. Take 2d4 at the start of its next turn.
Okay, if you want to roll that 2d4 right now, I'll, there we go.
That's going to be 5 points.
All right. At the start of its turn, acid burns through it and it just, like, dies. Fucking dies. It had 3. No, Tasha's Caustic Brew. You know what? I'm going to do a thing because I haven't gotten to do it yet. And it does this. They added a bunch of things, and I don't normally use them because, yeah. There you So yeah, this guy again. You see like a as the silver light kind of breaks out from it, and its corpse dissipates. You no longer need to concentrate on Tasha's caustic brew because it's not hitting anything if you don't want to. But,
Yeah.
Quill.
Yes, sir. I am going to repeat my same action, and I'm going to shoot my longbow again for a cool 24.
You know, a 24 will totally hit, and it only had 3 hit points left.
Cool.
So I'll give it to you. How do you dispatch your foe?
Awesome. I'm also going to add that 1 extra d4 just for my own personal joy here. For another 4, so 8. So I'm like pulling out this arrow, and I just kind of pull it back, and it kind of like goes near beside where Lou is, and I kind of push the arrow into his lips like he's giving a little kiss. And I let the arrow fly, and just like right through this thing, like right through where it's like multiple eyes are, right in the center. I'm not hitting any eyes. I want it to see it all at once as it comes through, and just bangs this thing through the skull as it dissipates.
It flips to its back, and it's like creepy legs just like curl up for a second, it goes, and it wisps out. And with that, everything goes quiet.
Sweet.
I'm going to relight my flame so that I can see again.
I need to do that in my life.
The last lingering effects of your flames kind of wisp out on the webs, and just grab that here, and grab that here. There we go. And with that, Quill has something of yours.
Yeah, so I'm assuming I would know about what this is.
You've probably seen her playing with her clickety-clackety math rock goblins.
Yeah. I walk up and I'm like, wait, I found this for you. No, that's the wrong one too. Man, I gotta figure this voice out.
You'll get there.
Hold on 1 second here.
How dare you not have the right voice?
It's I'm pretty sure it's yours, and I kind of like hand it towards you.
I don't remember losing these. But they're definitely mine.
Can I have like a moment of insight? Can I roll for something to see if I'm like, Auntie, or could I just say that thought?
I think it's pretty apparent that Auntie took the stones at some point and planted them there.
Perfect. I'm gonna be like, this is a test. She's testing us, and I passed with flying colors. I can like prop my chest up all proud, my tail's kind of flicking behind me, and I'm like, it hurt a lot, but I made the test.
Hoots, after about a minute, the poison finishes running through its course through your veins, and I feel like there should be a suitable owl like expulsion moment or something attributed with that. Where you're like, oh.
Just like literally like turn away from everyone till where these rocks are. Oops, that's the wrong. That one will work. And just literally like vomit a quick pellet out. Just
Can he be like standing with his hands on his hips like Jared Kiso, and then all of a sudden his head just turns 180 degrees back, and he just like gives a little lean back.
Well, now I feel right as rain.
And with that, you seem to have passed Auntie's test, and you return with your beloved Dungeons and or Dragons dice back to the Grove. Callahan is nowhere in sight, Hoots. He went home. He's like, you'll be fine, or you'll die. One of the two. It's fine.
Either way, not my problem.
Not my problem.
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
On the way back, I'm definitely going to cast Cure Wounds on myself.
Absolutely.
I'll toss out good berries for whatever people need. I've got enough, I think, for what we're losing.
I like it.
What's
as you get back,
1d4?
1.
1 hit point.
Oh.
It's really good for getting people up and out of combat healing.
Yeah.
And there's some cool
One
shenanigans.
roll size thing to get you up.
Yeah. You guys can totally apply a good berry to a person as well and use it as emergency first aid to get a hit point.
Yeah.
And you return back to the grove, and with like 9 minutes left in our scheduled stream, we zoom in on like some dialogue that's probably happening there of like, hey, you passed my test and you didn't die. My illusions really did the number though. I like it.
Stealing isn't kind.
Oh, it wasn't stealing, dear. The rocks wanted to help.
You could talk to these rocks too? Like, they're like cheap dice.
It's like Schmessik's dice.
Mhm.
They're
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't say one, they say dope on them instead.
Exactly.
She's like, but you didn't die, and you worked as a team. I mean, I'll be honest, I was a little worried about you guys there for a second, but probably it's certainly worth. We'll shop around a little bit, and we'll round you guys out before we ask you to leave town and go and do anything. And Quill is just like,
You're muted.
and I think our camera
muted?
kind of like
Never mind.
Okay.
oh, our camera kind of pans out, and you zoom up from the grove, and it was kind of dark, and the skyline is sort of a beautiful color, and the clouds are wispy, and we'll pick it up another day because you lived. You made it all the way to level 1.
Yes.
If any of us died today, it would have been very depressing.
Oh, the shame.
Here's the thing. Of your primary party for this arc, every single one of you has access to healing magic.
Yeah.
I don't.
Eventually. You will as a ranger. Like, that's a thing. Not today, but eventually. So I don't have to be nearly as careful anymore.
Yay.
Hey. So
Now
that'll
we-
be fun next week.
Oh no.
Hey,
Riley.
Yeah.
All right.
So, with that, if we want to pull back here to our chat screen, thank you everybody for tuning in for our inaugural, so to speak, and helping out and giving us a follow. It looked like we had a reasonable turnout tonight, and hope to be back. We'll see you next Sunday. Also going to be streaming sometime. I haven't figured out a schedule just yet for it, for encounter building and updating World Anvil with some of the lore that we're talking about here. Because I don't know all of the lore yet until these guys talk about it and decide who lives where and why. So I'll be doing that and figuring that out as we go along. If you can follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us in all of the social media platforms that we have, and links are in our doobly-doos. And I will never get tired of saying doobly-doos. I'll go around. Melissa, anything on your end?
Nope, just thanks everybody again. Thanks for being here, showing up and supporting the stream. We're excited to be here.
Thank you to my wife for being so patient. David?
No, nothing from me. I'm really excited. I am planning on raiding us out after this, so please do stick around. We're gonna go send some love to another Dungeons and Dragons channel. So I'm just trying to find the right one. So give me a second here on that.
Perfect. Mac?
I will have a voice properly figured out that doesn't change consistently and isn't quite as derpy by the next time. But aside from that, thanks for watching, and we appreciate the people who have followed that don't know us in real life. But with that being said, we also appreciate the people that did follow us that do know us in real life. Yeah, we see you. and we appreciate you. And yeah, Seamus beside me here, who you all saw a second ago, also appreciates y'all. The nice thing is that if I don't feel like showing my face, I can just use him because that's basically who Quill is modeled after. So
Yeah, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll have some character art. We've got a fantastic artist. She's working day and night, if our Discord conversations are any indication, to get us some bitchin' character art, and some extra music coming down the pipe. We'll just have to work some stuff out. So, yeah.
there you go. Perfect. Where are you at?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone ready? We're gonna go right out. These guys have one viewer. They look like they've got some hand-drawn custom character art too. So we're really excited. And as Riley has pointed out, we will have an extra player next week as well. So we're very, very excited for that.
He had to work today.
Yeah. The real life problems. But to all 16 of you, we're going to send you off to Wolf. It looks like they're playing D&D. It looks like they're in the middle of an encounter. So we're going to send you over to them. And you all have an excellent night. So raid process is starting here. 10, 9, 8.
Whoa.
That's 5, 4, 3,
Bye, everyone.
2, 1. We'll see you guys next time.
Damage, and I only mitigate physical damage right now. But I do.
Expensive.
Bryn, you were talking about like how good rogues are. That's one thing I learned is that like, what is it?
Well, at
Fancy
level. Go ahead.
Or I was gonna say, Uncanny Dodge does not care about what type of damage
Nope.
it is, right?
Correct.
It just has
All.
it.
Yep.
At level 7, anyone within 10 feet of me will just gain resistance to spells. Any damage from spells.
No shit.
No, they're definitely not.